Since I was a kid, I've been fascinated by stories. Not just the what, but the how. How lives change. How moments unfold. I realized the answers, they aren't always in books, but they're with people too. That's why we started this show, to uncover the extraordinary in the everyday, one story at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to ACTV Storytellers. This is a show where we chronicle the lives of fellow Anderson Countyans who've made a positive and lasting impact in our community and beyond. This is the second episode of Season 2, and on this episode, as you might be able to tell, we're in a different studio. We're going to vary our theme a bit. Instead of sharing the life of an individual, we're going to share the life of a season, or the story of a season. And I have several people here today to help me tell this story. And these are all members of the 1992 Clinton Dragons state runner-up team. They set 14-0 that season going into that final game, which is still a school record. So these guys are going to relive that season with us, and we're going to just share that story of the Clinton Dragons 1992 season. So before we get started, let me introduce our panel, and I'll tell you who they are and what position they held. If we'll start to my left, this is Bronson Woods, and Bronson was a tailback and outside linebacker on the team. This is Jason Liner beside Bronson. Jason was fullback and the linebacker. And of course, this is Coach Gaylor, the architect of the team. To my right, this is the quarterback. We can't do an interview without quarterback. So this is the quarterback, Darren Scarborough of the 92 team. And then to Darren's right, that is Jason Rohde, and he was the center and linebacker as well for the 92 team. So guys, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys being willing to come together to share this story. Believe it or not, when this show actually came to fruition, this was one of the first stories we got together and decided we wanted to tell. We just didn't know how we would do it. They first wanted to throw you to the Wolves coach, and they wanted you to come out here.
I'm glad you changed your mind.
And do it yourself. But I was like, no, we'll get some folks into a room, and we'll see what we can come up with. So we're going to share the entire story of that season and what you guys remember, because as I already learned in our first meeting, there are some things that happen on that football field that people in stands just won't know. And I'm really looking forward to having an opportunity for you guys to share that with our audience. So without any further ado, let's jump in and get started. So before the 92 season started, y'all had a game in 91 against Central. Things didn't go as you had planned in that game, and then you got into the locker room of that 91 season at Central, and Coach Gaylor had some things to say. Now, he claims that he doesn't remember, but I think you fellas remember it quite well. So what happened in the locker room of the 92 Central game?
Well, we started the season. We had won a game against Powell, which was a big win. Powell was a really good football team. Then we lost 3 in a row, and the Central game was the third one. And halftime we was down 28-0. And coming halftime, Coach Gaylor wasn't chewing us out. It was one of those ordeals. He said, "Let's go out the second half and start over and just win the second half. Just win the second half." That's what his exact words were. And after that happened, we did go out that second half, got beat 28-7, but we won the second half, and after that's when the streak kind of started.
So if you take the 91 post-Central game up into Gallatin, you guys won 21 straight games. Mm-hmm. So half the season of the 91 through the 92 season, it was a 21-0 run.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. So when you guys came together as coaches and players to begin preparation for the 92 season, talk about the makeup of your team and if you were aware that season was going to be something special.
Well, I'll start. Having the 7-game winning streak gave us confidence, and we had a lot of our kids coming back, including all these, and they were a big part of that that 91 team as well. And, we finished third in our district, but back then only 2 teams could go to the playoffs, so we felt like we were as good as anybody. And I remember taking the guys to a playoff game the next year over at Oak Ridge because I wanted them. I just wanted to start preparing them for what I thought we could do. And we went over there and watched Oak Ridge beat William Blunt, who had beat us in probably our worst game of the 2-year span. So I just felt like we had things going the right way, and if we could be fairly free from injury, because we weren't real deep, but we had a good shot at having a good year. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and say we were going to go to the state championship game because it's one game at a time, and plus we're in one of the toughest districts in East Tennessee. And so, but we did it. We actually, improved each week and got better and had a lot of momentum going into that season.
What did you guys think? Did you know you had something special when you started practice?
Definitely. And like Coach said, there was a lot of momentum, I feel like, in the beginning of the season there. I came in from Oliver Springs. And so when I came in with these guys, it was a big deal because they pushed me really hard. And so I was already pretty excited about being on the team, in general. And so, so the momentum that we had, moving forward from that point, I feel like it helped me a lot, kind of bond with everybody coming from Oliver Springs.
Now, a lot of you guys had grown up playing with each other, right?
Playing against those two.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everybody,
Claxton, South Clinton. Yeah.
so everybody knew everybody when you showed up on the field.
Yeah, you were back when Claxton, South Clinton, everybody still had the league, so you kind of knew of each other growing up. So it was one of those things where Jason was from South Clinton, Jason was from Clinton, I was from Claxton. You had guys from Claxton. It was a great mesh of all the areas in the county.
So you guys start practicing, and there's a few changes, both on the personnel side with some coaches and some defensive schemes. What were those changes, and what were you guys doing different?
Well, defensively was probably the biggest change. We were a 50 team. When it was just my second year as a head coach, but we had been a 50 team most of my years as an assistant coach, and we just kind of felt like coaches were comfortable with it, and we just felt like that was the thing to do. And of course, this young man right here was our nose man in that 50, and I think he was the happiest person when we moved to more of a 4-3-4-4 type team. But that was probably the biggest change. Scotty Whitt moved to tailback from wide receiver because we were really blessed for those few years and even past these guys with really good running backs that really deep. I mean, we had 3 or 4 that rushed for lots of yards, and Scotty, of course, rushed for like 1,400 or 1,500 yards that year. But he was hurt sometimes, and Bronson stepped in. I think Jason played tailback some, and we also ran some one-back stuff when we played 2 tight ends, and so he played some then. Bronson played then.
Eddie Robinson.
Eddie Robinson played.
I remember Jason playing a lot.
So there were some changes, but we was just trying to put the pieces in the right place, pretty much, and I think we did pretty good.
Did y'all like the defensive change?
Oh, yeah.
Was that something?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, were you comfortable
Well, he
with it?
went from being over the nose to 5 yards off the ball. Of course, he's going to love it.
I loved it. I didn't mind playing nose guard, but I wasn't very big, so I just kind of survived on speed. And when they caught me, it hurt pretty bad.
I think what helped those two, they're both linebackers, and our front 4 was pretty good, and we had some guys that would rotate in there, and they kept them pretty free to roam around a lot and go make plays.
His first 5 yards, I've told you this before, he's quick as could be, but after that,
After 5, he was done.
Yeah.
No.
But strong in that 5-yard burst.
I'd put him against anybody.
You had a lot of high IQ football guys in that defense. Just a lot. I mean, just all the linebackers, defensive line guys, very high IQs, and they all play together so well too.
Football knowledge.
It was. I mean, those guys that they had the rotation with the defensive linemen, linebackers coming in, defensive backs. It was just impressive defense. It really was.
Now, you guys were you were in 5A?
No, there was only three
There's
classifications.
only three.
3A.
Yeah, private schools were mixed in there.
Okay.
Everybody was in just three classifications.
Now you guys were a super small
Oh yeah.
3A school, right?
Yes.
And y'all were playing.
It would be 6A.
It would be 6A.
6A.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all, I think somebody told me that when you got to Gallatin, you
38 players.
38 players
players.
went through went through the banner.
Yeah.
It was like
Wow.
a little pod went out, and then they come out like a
It
straight.
didn't take long for us to get out of
Yeah.
It didn't take long for you to get out of the
They
dressing
had
room.
already played their song. We were.
Well, let's talk about the first game of the season. Y'all have Powell, and you go to their place. Now you had a little bit of an advantage because I guess today they'd call that week 0. Powell played Anderson County, and you got to scout them a little bit. What did that help you? How so?
As a coach, I would have preferred to have been Powell because I would rather have a game under my belt in playing my second game versus having to open up the season with somebody as good as Powell. The advantage was we played Powell quite often, and so they hadn't changed a whole lot. And looking over the tape here lately, they hadn't changed anything. They were running split back veers, and their quarterback was very athletic, and they were big.
That seems to be true for Powell
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
They have
The
an
year
athletic
before,
quarterback.
the year before, they had two guys that were massive, Chad Painter and Rudy Stennett. And I think Chad went to Vanderbilt and Rudy went to UT, and they were huge.
And I think beating them the year before pretty good. Going into that year, we had pretty good confidence
Yeah,
because we brought back about everybody off the team. So playing them, we was pretty confident going into that ball game.
Now y'all beat them 41-19 at their place. So what was the game plan going into that? I mean, did that week, did you make any adjustment from what you were going to do?
No, well, we'd changed defenses from the year before, so they probably weren't quite aware of what we were going to present to them defensively, and we did do a really good job on their option game defensively in that game, and we were going to run the ball. I mean, back then you didn't throw the ball as many times as they throw it now. Now Darren's probably mad about that. But
I heard you kind of felt like you got shafted in that.
Let's be later. Talk about it later.
But part of it was being able to run the ball opened up things in the passing game too, because we were play action. I remember, I don't know if these guys remember, we go play in flag league games in the summer, and we're running bootlegs, and you can't do anything but pass, but we're
Yeah.
still running
We'll run our play.
our stuff to get ready for the season. And so we ran the ball really well that game and just hit passes when necessary.
Well, this question, I've got a little lead in, and then it's going to support what you said, Coach. So I looked at the box score for that game. So y'all outgained Powell on the ground, 346 yards, and they had 127. Y'all had 7 guys that carried the ball on that. You had 7 guys that at least had a carry from the running back slot that night. When you guys discovered that you could run, I mean, Powell's good. When you discovered you could run the ball like that in that first game, was that a encouragement for you? Did you feel like, because if you could go out and control that run game, that's pretty critical.
Well, we run the ball the year before too.
Yeah, it's
In that little spell there.
I think Powell, that's when we knew we had Scotty with.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you knew we had a man running the field.
We had somebody special.
I mean, that was his comes in. Scotty had some good springs in summer, but I mean, we didn't have a lot of competition amongst ourselves. I mean, unless it was one-on-one, so scrimmage and stuff. But Scotty's coming out party. That's the way I looked at it. I mean, he had 2 or 3 runs there's like 6 Powell defenders just ran through him. I think he had to get a new jersey.
Yeah.
After the
T-shirt ripped off. Yeah, that's what it was.
I seem to remember that as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
So after that game, you guys show up ranked nationally in the USA Today poll. You came into the USA Today poll after the first game of the season as ranked number 23. So I have a question. Coach, were you surprised that you guys were getting that much attention? I mean, to start out a season, and what did you guys think as players when you found out that the nation knew who you were?
Well, being as old as I am, I don't remember exactly how I was feeling. I probably, being
Here we go.
coach talk, I probably wasn't real happy about being ranked that high that early, knowing the next game was coming up and who it was against.
Right.
So,
Now, see, it's word of mouth. Somebody happened to see it in the paper, and then you call somebody because we had the internet.
Yeah,
at the
right.
time. You
no internet.
Yeah, no internet. So it's like, hey, man, you read the USA Today? What's the USA Today?
Right.
I mean, what do you talk about?
And back then, besides being the district favorites going in, we didn't know we were going to be ranked in the state nationally until a week before the first game. It wasn't like things were, like it is now with 24/7 sports rivals. There's nothing leading up to the season in the summer to let you know that you're going to be ranked that high to anything.
Actually, we were coming into that game ranked second.
In the state.
Oak Ridge was first.
Ogre still
Because they'd won it
first.
the year before, so
Right.
they were coming in.
It's kind of interesting that the first game of the season, you guys are, I mean, like you're already making noise off of that 7-game run y'all had to close 91. Well, somebody mentioned the next game, so let's go ahead and get to it. So Oak Ridge comes to your place. And here's some numbers for you, just a few. Heading into the Oak Ridge game, the Wildcats had won 18 of the last 19 between the schools, and your last win was 86. Well, what was your mindset going into that week? I mean, obviously this is your rival. What was your mindset going into this week 2 as well? I mean, you're tested.
During the summer, to get our minds right, our coaches were great. They prepared us and everything. What their thing was you had to beat the Cats. You had to beat Central Wildcats, and you had to beat the Oak Ridge Wildcats to get to one of those two spots. So going into that game, we've got to beat the Cats. This is our first Cat. We've got to beat them. And it was all over the locker room and beat the Cats. So they Coach Gaylor, Coach Holbrook, Coach Engel, Coach Voss, Coach Fragamini, who was the meanest man ever in football coach-wise.
Which we thought he was.
Yeah,
Thought- we
but
thought
nowadays we've hung out with him
Enough
now
to
that
know.
we're older and
Yeah.
sweetest old man you'll ever meet.
yeah.
You think he's just, but back then,
You couldn't
scared
go
to death, scared
Yeah.
to death of him.
Story about
Scared.
Coach Fragamini. Sometime, and I can't remember the exact year, but it could have been any year. We're in a scrimmage game up on our practice field. Somebody, I don't even remember who that was. I do remember this distinctly. One of our linebackers got hurt on a play, and he went in and played linebacker. He looked like Bronson though. I mean, he wasn't gonna get hurt or anything. I was just hoping he wouldn't hurt one of their He played linebacker, I promise.
He did that in practice.
Yeah. He turned his hat backwards and played.
Yeah.
He played at UT. So,
Right.
I mean,
So that's how kind of, and those two played under him at linebacker.
yeah. He was our position
And
coach, and it was every
Running
day.
back
We were like,
coach
what's
right
gonna happen
there.
today?
So we didn't have a toughness problem in that
Oh, yeah.
those positions.
You had to have thick skin to play for that man.
Well, obviously, as the score would indicate, and we'll go ahead and jump to the conclusion and pull the surprise out. But y'all won 6-0. So as the score would indicate, it was a defensive brawl.
The ball's a good word for it. There were a few of them during the game that hurt both teams, actually.
What were
Looking back,
some of the things that y'all remember about that distinctly?
Don't you got a play you need to talk about?
What play? Which play you talking about?
The drop pass that you.
Well, Yock's not here. We're not gonna.
Oh,
we're not
okay.
gonna give him.
Okay.
We're not
Well,
gonna give him
maybe
time.
you should tell that since Yock is not here. That would be.
I think the number of people that were there.
Oh yeah.
I'd never in my life,
There's-
other than going to a ball game, had ever seen that many people in one place. I mean,
they say it's the biggest crowd ever
When
then
they
and
pulled up, they had to
now.
make an alleyway, and we're there 2 hours early for us to walk just onto the field to get to the locker
There
room.
couldn't have been a more motivated team, though, at
Yeah.
the time than us.
Yeah.
One of the articles that I read, it actually quoted. There was a quote from Larry Gann, who was your all's AD at the time, and his estimate on ticket sales. He said that there was somewhere in the article. He said there was somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 people at that game. Now I don't know that you could squeeze 8,000 people into that stadium, but somehow you did.
They tried.
Oh, plus,
I mean,
and the count outside the stadium too.
yeah, on the hill.
When you're on the field playing, you look up and the road that goes up to the old Ronnie Williams, Ford, you couldn't see the road. The people were all up there standing watching the game from up there too. So it was.
So all you guys are grown men now, but when you on that night, you're 16, 17-year-old kids.
Oh,
I mean, like, what's going on in your mind when you're looking up and coach, it had to be pretty intimidating for you too on a Friday night. I mean, what are y'all thinking when you're seeing this sea of humanity?
It wasn't just the fans too. You had Channel 6, Channel 8, and Channel 10, their vans.
when you pulled up there,
mean,
the satellites were sitting there. You got your
I think
attention
that
real
was a
quick.
factor why it was 6-0. I think we were a better football team at Oak Ridge. I think it shouldn't have been 6-0. I think the hype of the game. I mean, just made some fumbles over there. I mean, I don't know. I felt like we was right when the game started. We was the better team.
I felt like the hype hurt the offense, but inspired the defense. And we needed it because we were in a bind most of that game. We started really well, and it looked like we might get things going like we had the week before against Powell, but we had some things happen, a fumble, whatever. But they were inside our 20 probably 5 times, inside our 10 3 or 4 times. We got the help on one time that they called a penalty on them for a late hit or something, but we had just got called for a late hit that got them down there. So it was an emotional game when you played them, and the hardest part for us as coaches was to try to hit that balance where we wanted them to be emotional for the game, but you couldn't be so tied up that you couldn't do things that you normally do.
Yeah, I've been around games at Clinton for 40 years, and I've never seen a crowd like that. I mean, we pulled up there. There was nowhere else. I mean, at 5:30, there's nowhere else to sit. There was nowhere else to stand. You had to part ways just to get there to warm up, and you got your attention quick because we'd never seen it before. We've never pulled up to the game and seen the satellite dishes from the news, and right off the bat, that's when things got real for me as a player on the season, when you pulled up and see that, and you're like, hey, this has got real quick.
It was loud. I remember asking Darren, repeat the play. I mean, it was loud. I mean,
We got cheered coming out for pregame for snapping and kickers and everything else. It erupted when we come.
Yeah,
out.
it was all.
I was like, "What's going on here?"
It was one versus number 2.
Yeah,
that don't
right.
that don't happen
Yeah.
a lot. Not anywhere.
I think my wife left school at 3:30, whatever time her school. She was a teacher in Harrison County, and went straight to the game so she could get in and have a seat and maybe save a few for the family.
That's a funny story I've told before. Was we had our pregame meal at 4 o'clock, and after our pregame meal, we go down to one of the coaches' offices and do the offense and defensive meetings. I didn't play defense, and Jason Watson didn't either. So when we got the offensive meeting done, we would go back to the field house to get taped up or whatever. It was just me and him. So you're not supposed to leave the field house after school. So me and him decided we'd heard these rumors about people that are down there, so we sneak off and drive down to the stadium at 4.
Coach, he may have to do some stadium runs after the show's over. You may have to.
So we pull down there at 4:30, and like he said, there's already people lined up past the community center. The parking lot's at full, and it's at 4:30. So right then, nerves got to me and him real quick already seeing that, because didn't expect it.
Right.
Expect it.
Well, it's interesting that you two are sitting on the same side, because a key moment in that game, Bronson, was you. You make a play. You have a pick, and you return it. According to the Courier, you return it 35 yards.
I should have scored.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't have had a touchdown pass, so it all worked out.
Team game. Appreciate it. It did work out.
So you pick it off, you return it 35 yards, and set up your touchdown. But Jason, you led the team in rushing that game. And that's with Scotty in the backfield. You had 8 carries for 91 yards. That's quite an average per rush. I mean, you guys were key to that game.
well, I think a lot too. They had seen Scotty the week before. I mean, they were keying on Scotty. So I mean, we had a good line. I mean, Rhodey and Page and our line and Benji, they always did a good job opening holes up. But I mean, Scotty took a lot of. I mean, they kind of smothered him up.
So Bronson, how'd you talk about your pick? Did you did you make a play? How did
It was something that happened instantaneously, really. I saw the ball, just kind of blink of an eye, kind of knew what to do. I think it was just something that was natural. I didn't really see him release the ball or anything. Just kind of turned around and the ball was in my face, and so at that point, I realized I had the ball in my hand. It was a big Oak Ridge game, so yeah.
Did you think you were going to score?
I don't know that I was thinking a whole lot. I was still running. The ball was in my hand. Yeah.
So you guys scored in the second quarter on a pass from you to Scotty,
Into double coverage.
but you missed the PAT. And when I got into doing a little research about these games, there was some PATs that were missed. But when we all got together, I found out, as Paul Harvey used to say, I found out the rest of the story. So what's going on with these PATs?
Well, it's once again, our team is 38 players. We had probably 15, 16 guys that probably played the majority of the time. So a lot of guys played multiple positions. Jason didn't just play center and linebacker. He was also the long snapper. Don Trail played linebacker and a receiver, but he was our kicker. So Don Trail was in the game a lot. So when we scored, he's in the game. Don Trail had to run over the sideline and kick his left-footed shoe off. Somebody would throw the kicking shoe.
Now, he was a straight-on kicker.
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
So somebody would throw the shoe on, and Don Trail was left-footed, but the shoe was right. and the more comical, Don Trail he would slip his foot, he wouldn't even tie the shoe. And he had to run back on the field. You've got a 30-second, you got to kick, they're not waiting on you. So usually Don Trail he wouldn't even line up. He would just run up there and stand and kick it. And, hope it went in, hope it didn't half the time.
He made most of it.
Yeah.
But he did miss that one.
But that was our team. That was just the things we had to do.
Well, so I want to. Obviously, if you guys shut them out, you shut them out for 4 quarters. I don't remember the numbers now, but it's the first time you guys had done that in decades. To shut out Oak Ridge. Talk about your defensive performance a little bit.
Well, I would say, how many times Oak Ridge has been shut out? Period. Not just by us, by anybody. That's how impressive it is. That's Oak Ridge. That ain't an average high school. That's a legendary high school. They shut out. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, they just won the state the year before too. So we're
yeah.
talking about when Oak Ridge was kind of in their heyday.
Yeah.
Right? Did anything kind of stand out? Because here's the thing, and I'll just go ahead and jump to this. And I talked to Rhodey about this weeks ago when I was reading through the different articles and publications. Oak Ridge in the second half got inside your all's 10-yard line 3 times. 3 times. Mm-hmm. And with the missed PAT, a touchdown and a point after, you lose 7-6. And they got inside your 10 3 times. Once there was I think a personal foul penalty against Oak Ridge that backed them up, and they went for it on 4th and didn't make it. Another play, I think Teddy Phillips had a hit, maybe a strip, and somebody recovered the fumble, and y'all stopped them then. And then they got inside the 10 late, like with just a few minutes left to go, and y'all just held on downs. They went for it for the win and held. That's saying something. 3 times, y'all held them inside the 10. I know it gets tougher as that field gets smaller.
It don't happen. Yeah, that don't happen.
But that's that's a pretty elite performance from you guys.
And it was like Coach said, the energy of the crowd helped the defense more than it helped the offense. Of course, most of us are playing both sides of the ball anyway, but, in defense, where the ball goes, you're going. That's pretty much.
We had coaches that allowed us to be tough.
Oh, yeah.
Too. We had great coaches at Clinton, and even at Oliver Springs. Howard Stinnett was my coach there a long time. And, we had some coaches that allowed us to really play some ball, too.
And you had a close-knit team, too.
Yeah,
You
we
had
did.
15, 16 guys. Offense wasn't playing well, but those same guys playing defense played the offense. So they knew we were struggling. So it was, it's...
You got to step up.
Yeah, it was, to me, it's unbelievable how many guys playing both ways held 3 times in the second half inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, when I was reading the game articles, I was like, good night. Was it as physical as it sounded? For you guys on the field, was it pretty intense?
Blood pressure was always, there was no downtime. It was, when the game was over, then the blood pressure would go down. But
I think
When it stayed that way
Yeah.
the whole game, every play was critical. So
Yes.
it was like you couldn't.
Yeah.
There was mistakes made on both sides, but fortunately for us, if we made one, we were good enough to make the goal line stands or whatever. If we had a key penalty, we came back and responded well. So, and that game, looking back, gave us great confidence that we could just about, we could beat anybody. It didn't mean we were going to beat everybody, but we could, and we could hold our own on either side of the ball.
I'd say, Jason, you mentioned that you felt like on the field that night that you felt like you guys were the better team. What made you think that?
Well, the year before, I got kicked out the first play of the Oak Ridge game. So, I've seen Oak Ridge from the sideline the year before, but Oak Ridge, they always like to run toss. But I think with our defense, where we have 4 linebackers, you're tossing into the heart of our defense with Bronson and Cliff on the other side, and then Teddy anchoring the edge and Benji anchoring the edge. And then, like Coach said, me and Rhodey, we just got to read. And I just think, plus there wasn't a lot of tape on that other than what they seen on Powell. They really didn't know, but defensively, I think we had a pretty good. I actually think defensively we don't get as much credit as the offense does, but we had a good defense, and but it was just emotional. It was an emotional game for sure.
Well, I talked to somebody. I've been talking to lots of people in town when we were going to do this show, and I talked to a guy the other day, and he told me he felt like the heartbeat of that '92 team was your defense. He said that the defense really set up the offense to be successful. It's one man's opinion, but that's
There's truth to that. I mean, our front 8 was as good as anybody, and then the back 3 were good.
Yeah.
But they just didn't need to let anybody get behind them, and they didn't very often. And so we lived with our front 8. And offensively, we pretty much lived with our offensive line, and in some of our games, we'd bring in an extra lineman to stint it, right?
Yeah. No, he was already in.
But he would play tight end. Yeah, he was our tackle, but we'd bring in another lineman, Bubba Longmire, and he'd play tight end. And I know we'll talk about the Halls game. That's probably when we really went to the 2 tight end look some, because they were a 40 front defense too. And 40 fronts don't like 2 tight ends. It's just you got too many gaps to have to fill. So our front was the key to both sides of the ball. And then we had playmakers that could, when our front did their job, could make plays out of it, throwing it, catching it. He called it and ran it. So it was a very balanced team, but there were games where the defense definitely carried the offense, and that was the obvious one.
Oh,
there.
especially in the playoffs.
When you got a 6'3" tailback that loves to hit people when they're not looking, that's the perfect free safety right there. He loved it. He thought it was the greatest thing. One of the best hits in the Oak Ridge game is Inch Williams coming across on a slant, and Scotty.
Well, the side
They hurt both. He hurt himself and Inch at the same time. I mean, it was.
Well, the side speak of that defense. I mean, you had linebackers, all 4 of them probably weigh 200 pounds. Your defensive line probably averaged 260, 270. Your defensive backs all ran the 4.5 40s. It was a mesh of. I mean, you just don't see linebacking cores in high school even today with all 4 of them are 200+ pound guys and can run like they could run. Even Rhodey could run decent. He
I
could
was
run okay.
tackle to tackle.
And
It was sideline to sideline.
Now when you play
Complimented
defense,
each other well.
and your offense is good, I mean, we're willing to take chances and gambles because we know we're going to get the ball. And I mean, we could run the football. You can ball control it. We could run the football.
And your front 8's that good. What makes them confident too is they got Scotty back there at 6'2", 230. He runs a 4.40. Something happens.
He's going to save us. Yeah.
He's got covered. So I mean,
back up there.
So that helps out too. I mean, they ain't going far if they get by them.
So after y'all beat Oak Ridge, which had to be an enormously emotionally draining game. I mean, you play the next week and you roll William Blunt in. Was there any kind of letdown after you beat Oak
23
Ridge?
to nothing first quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So we were.
Like I said, it was probably, and it's probably not good to say, but it's probably relief
Oh.
in that everything else seemed, until we got to the playoffs, seemed fairly, I don't want to say easy, because we worked really hard to be successful. But after beating them, we've got that monkey off our back, so to speak.
They stress it. That was our first roadblock.
Yeah.
We got past that first one.
Yeah, I used to tell people,
Here we go.
The fear of losing that game was bigger than winning that game. Because you've always, you don't, it's like Tennessee, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida. Same example is, like Jason said, I thought we were a lot better than them. But that fear of losing that game, because you're supposed to lose that game. You're not supposed to beat Oak Ridge. It ain't supposed to happen. So that whole fear of, being nervous for that game. And once we got by that game, it was, like Coach Gettler said, the relief. You could relax a little bit. Not too much, but you could actually relax a little bit and play.
And our coaches too. I know coaches remember pursuit drills. Y'all remember that? I even tried to run it when I was coaching. I mean, I couldn't even. I mean, those kids, but they ain't having that. But we run that pursuit drill so much, and I think on defense we didn't miss a lot of tackles. We pursued to the football.
Yeah.
I mean, coach drilled that in our head. I mean, that was actually like our conditioning.
Yeah, I remember Voskamp doing that, blowing the whistle. I mean, he'd blow and everybody's on the ground that we can no longer run. He's still blowing the whistle. I mean, it's.
So y'all were at Teddy Jason, as you said, you were up 23 after 23-0 as first quarter, 30-0 at half.
That's William Blunt, right?
Yes, at William
I think
Blunt.
we were.
Now,
Don't want to talk about revenge too much. But we had lost that game.
It felt good, yeah.
You lost that game the year before, and we shouldn't have lost that.
Now you're talking about our extra points and all the extra points we missed. The reason it was 23-0 is because we missed the extra point and kicked a field goal. So he'd made a field goal.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
So here's some of the numbers of that game. So Bronson had 3 touchdowns against William Blunt. Did you know that?
I remember a little bit.
You had 3 touchdowns. Scotty had 2. Yock had 3 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. 3 catches.
See, I'm glad you said catches.
So talk about your offensive line a little bit. I mean, in order to do that, in order to dominate like that, y'all had to be pretty stable up front.
I kind of wonder if there's been a team like that with the front, come through like that.
Let's get their names in on this. Jason Brody was our center, and Benji Smith was a guard. Greg Stennett was a tackle.
Michael Moy
was
and
tackle.
Scott Page.
Scott Page.
And Teddy was.
Forcing.
Teddy was
a tight end.
And Teddy and Charles Van Valkenburg.
No one was small.
And Bubba would come in, Longmire would come in when we ran some if anybody got hurt or needed a
he
rest.
was multi-guy.
And then Stennett, even though he had number 72, I believe it was, played tight end in our 2 tight end look. And
Did you ever get to throw to those tight ends much, or did they?
there'll be one you'll hear about, I'm pretty sure, later on.
Did we not go in that set for like 2 or 3 series but didn't take a running back out or something?
No. Let's wait till that game. That was the Halls game. I'm ready for it.
I think there's some foreshadowing that's going
I
on.
just remembered.
3 plays, not series.
It was no series.
No.
So after William Blunt, y'all handle them pretty easy. Here comes the Cats.
The next one.
The Central comes to Clinton. Y'all beat them 20-10. So it was the Central game the previous season that was kind of the turning point for you guys. What was the game plan going into the 92 game against Central?
They had switched it up on us defensively because they had Cortland Stiles as quarterback. We show up and they have their quarterback had broke his wrist. It was Billy King, who was a tremendous athlete, super good baseball player. So that kind of threw us for a loop because now you take the quarterback that was playing and split him out, and he was a pretty good athlete receiver wise. So we're like, well, here we go, and they weren't bad at all. They were athletic as all get out.
Well, once again, you had a team we hadn't beaten in, I don't know, 10, 12 years probably, Central, going into that game. It had been a long time.
A while.
It'd been a while. I'm not sure how long it was.
So once again,
If they had been, that's when they were in the Todd Helton era then, and he was really good. And Oak Ridge and Central were the top 2 most of the years, and then us and Halls were the top 2 that year. So Central and Oak Ridge were big games, but I don't remember a whole lot about that game for some reason.
I remember we scored on the second play of the game.
Well, I know there was one big thing that happened in that game.
Scotty get hurt.
Scotty got hurt.
Scotty got hurt.
Separated
Pretty
shoulders.
early in the game.
And that's kind of when
Bronson.
Bronson started stepping up and care. And I don't know if there's any connection there, but when you came in, y'all just started killing people. I mean, I got the score. You beat Heritage 34-6. You beat Morristown East 45-7. You beat Campbell, and you guys weren't even playing in the second half by a lot of these games.
Yeah, so much momentum. So much momentum. We were taking it into the rest of those games. Yeah.
Because you had just got by that second hurdle.
Yeah.
You've just beat the Cats, and that
Right.
was our goal.
Yeah.
We're top dog now.
We were kind of feeling like we were going to do things,
And those
Or
teams,
we a little bit.
and those teams we should have. That was the thing. We should have. But Coach Cody was always good about sitting guys out. Once you got a good lead, he was resting guys. Don't want to risk injury because we didn't have very good depth. I mean,
I think he's talking about resting him.
Oh, well, yeah. Well,
so I was going to say now.
Some of these guys didn't rest that a lot.
the quarterback, we were still in the game.
So here's some other numbers for you, or here's some other numbers. So that was your all's first perfect September of a season since 1983.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You outrushed Central 260 yards. They had 79. You guys dominated, obviously when you're running that well, you dominated time of possession. You had the ball 29 minutes and 8 seconds, and Central had the ball for 18 minutes and 52 seconds. What were some of the things that stand out to you guys from that game?
Personally, I'm Scotty getting hurt. I got to play tailback at a single back set. Coach, like I said, he ran it some, so I got to play tailback. I think I had one of my better runs that game. But I didn't even start the game because I was set out because of my hamstrings. And then when Scotty went out, then Bronson, he went in, but Bronson got hurt for a minute. And then, next thing you know, I'm back in there.
Did you say hamstrings?
Yeah, he said, yeah.
You had both of them? Both of them. I don't know which one. Wow.
But Central, like I said, they were a good football team.
Yeah,
Cortland Stiles he was
Yeah.
he was like 6'2", 6'3".
They had they had good line.
And they were well coached.
Yeah,
too. I
very
mean, they
well.
were
Coach Helton.
And I remember Coach Holbrook going over with us linebackers because they run veer. So that's the first time we really seen a veer team in this new defense that we ran. And they run some wing too. So.
So you guys start the season 3-0. You beat a good PAL team, obviously a state champion in Oak Ridge the previous season. Y'all beat them 6-0, shut them out. Then you beat Central. After you get over that third game and you go into you have a stretch run there that's competition's not quite as steep.
we're having fun.
So Heritage is significant because I guess Heritage was actually where Scotty got hurt, right? Or was
No, it was
Central?
Central.
Okay. So you go into Heritage, first game that you play without Scotty, and as you guys have said, that's pretty nice to have Scotty in your backfield. But you go into the Heritage game without Scotty. What's the mindset of the team?
As a lineman, doesn't matter. He's going to be back there. He's going to be back there. Little Ed Robinson's going to be back there. He's going to be there.
That's the deepest position we had.
Yeah.
Is running back.
Yeah,
As far as
we're going to have to.
you didn't lose a whole lot. I mean, you lose Scotty Witt, you're definitely
You're
not
going
quite as good, but
Right.
we had plenty of people that had played before. Plus, it also our versatility was good too. Yock, I think, went to free safety, and Eddie Robinson
went to corner.
went to corner. So we had some guys that were still pretty good really good players that would come in and sub for these guys.
So Bronson, did you and Jason, did y'all feel any pressure when you? I mean, obviously, you're replacing. I mean, you know who you're replacing. Did you
Yeah.
feel any pressure about?
Yeah, sure. There was some pressure. I mean, it's been a long time, so I don't, remember exactly, but there was a lot of pressure there. Sure. We had a real tight team, though. Our team was so tight. The line was strong. There was a lot of confidence. So yeah, there was pressure, but there was a lot of camaraderie as well. So I felt good. I felt confident.
Our fullbacks blocked well too. That always helped out the tailbacks. The wide receivers were pretty solid blocking. As long as you could get Gallagher going, The right
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's right. I remember that.
Never know story.
Did y'all feel? I guess it had to help you a little bit, knowing that Bronson, you or Jason, you guys weren't going to have to carry the ball 30 times. You knew there were other guys that could,
Well, Coach liked to run power I too, so we went to a power I a lot after Scotty's injury too. I mean, when we were in power I knew we were getting. I don't care who we were playing. We were getting 4 yards. I didn't care.
Yes, that's a fact.
When we lined up in that set, we were getting 4 yards.
Yeah.
And if you watch the tape, I don't think many people stopped us in the power I.
Well, you had arguably, at the time, Clinton's always had good running backs here and there through the years. But you'd have one on the team. You're talking about arguably the two best tailbacks and two best fullbacks on the same team at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and I had the best ticket in the house, so.
A lot of times he wouldn't carry out his face real well because he won't turn around and see what ball.
Especially if I knew what
Scotty was going to do.
I knew what I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Let me get the popcorn. That's
Coach, I think I remember that too.
We had a few discussions about this.
carrying out your face.
Oh, and Coach Gator, allowed me to, check off, change plays a lot. A lot of times we go to the line of scrimmage and he'd call a play and he'd say on the ball, it was one play or the other. And you go to the line of scrimmage, you look what hole's open and call it. And these guys were so good. They were. And he talked about speed too. Both of them, your fullbacks, for the first 5 yards is what fastest guy on the team. Probably.
For sure.
But just great speed too. Jason Liner and Cliff Daniels and a lot of teams would have been a starting tailback. They would have. That's the thing. It's, to have those guys on the same team at the same time, and it made it, But those teams we were playing when Scotty were out were definitely not as good as the team,
Right. Well, and again, let me go through the scores. Y'all went to Heritage, I think, and beat them 34-6. You went to Morristown East, and you beat them 45-7. Campbell County. And we're going to come back. We're going to come back to that Campbell County game because I think there was a moment that we need to highlight. And I know Eddie, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And
we might have to get him on the phone to verify this. I don't know.
Hey, phone a friend here.
And I have a lot of respect for Eddie. So, and then you beat Cumberland County. I think they came to Clinton. Y'all beat them
That's when Scotty come back.
54-0.
Yeah.
And then you went to Carnes and beat them 54-16. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 games you just steamroll people. But let's go back to the Campbell County game. You go in, you're playing Campbell County, and you go in at halftime, and it's what, 14
nothing.
14. The number one team in the state.
I haven't played well.
Yeah, number one team state, hadn't played well, things are not going, and then coach has a moment. Now he won't. I think when we talk, I think Coach Gaylor.
He didn't remember it.
He conveniently
Yeah,
forgot.
he just forgot.
No, I remember. I just don't remember that one detail.
Yeah, you guys seem to remember it better. So why don't y'all have a go at it? What happened at the Campbell County game at halftime?
Coach Gaylor's known for his pregame and halftime speeches. He don't come across as a rah guy, and you see him out in public. But locker rooms, he's really good at doing pregame and halftime speeches. Well, we're not playing well at Campbell County. Campbell County is one of those places, and you play up there, I don't care when it is. It's going to be rainy, wet, cold, foggy. It's never, great weather.
Locker room's way up on top of hills. Yeah. So I was probably mad about having to walk up the hill.
And we've, like you said, we've won a few games in a row by big scores, so we're kind of full of ourselves right now. And we're only up 14-0 at halftime. And this is back when you still got Cokes at halftime. So it tells you, we're telling our age a little bit.
A little bit.
Nutrition-wise, back,
a little
back
bit
then.
of a sugar rush.
Here's some sugar.
Yes.
So we walk in there, we're expecting it, we know it's coming. And like I said, Bronson said, we're a close-knit group of guys, So he comes in there and did he throw the Cokes off the table?
He flipped. I got one.
Somehow.
And had it in my hand, and he flipped
He
it.
flipped him, but somehow there was one left.
Yeah.
And I happened
No,
to.
he grabbed it. He grabbed it out and had it in his
So he had it
He
still.
had it. He cocked it.
So I'm sitting by Eddie, and Eddie, and Eddie back then was there was nobody more intense than Eddie Robinson. Eddie was very intense, and I'm sitting by Eddie, and Coach Gator's ripping us, and he's ripping us. And Eddie's just sitting there, and Eddie is listening to every word.
Eyeball to eyeball.
And all of a sudden, Gator takes that Coke, and he's trying to throw it up against the wall. He don't mean to. but he tattoos Eddie right in the forehead. Like Coke. But he don't, and as he does it, he doesn't even miss stride on his talk. He keeps on.
Eddie never flinched either.
Eddie didn't follow. I don't think
never
Eddie
flinched.
blinked because I looked
Yeah.
over at Eddie and Coach Gator should have quit the
This is the
talk.
character
because
of our team.
We had already we're biting our limbs. Yeah, we're wanting to laugh at Coach Gaylor over this because Eddie.
know you hit him?
No, he had no idea. He don't remember.
I remember throwing it. I thought I hit. I hit above it.
Eddie didn't even
Fell on
blink. Eddie was still listening intently. Of course, when Coach Gator gets finished with the talk, he comes over to Eddie and goes, "Sorry, Ed." And we all lose it laughing that Coach Gator was out the door. But we go out second half, took care of business, and did a better job. But yeah, it was a great story.
Coach seems to not remember those times a lot. Maybe
He's using his age. He's trying to act like he can't remember that stuff.
Have you noticed that too, Boston? I noticed that quite a bit, especially and for those watching the show, we met a couple of weeks ago over on Clinton's campus at their athletic complex, and we spent about 3 hours over there, and it was fantastic. Just sitting there hearing you guys tell some of these stories, and some of them maybe we shouldn't probably put on television, but they were great. They were entertaining, and I enjoyed being a part of it. All right, so after y'all kind of take care of that middle section of your schedule, you got a big one at Clinton. I just saw recently. It's funny because when we were talking about doing the show, Robbie Harrell said, "Have you seen Jason's run against Halls?"
That's the second game we played.
Oh, in the playoffs.
Yes.
So it wasn't the regular season.
Okay.
Okay.
These will be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Let me call it.
Yeah.
Jason, we'll come back to your moment. I mean, I promise. I won't forget.
Maybe even better. That's 4 more games we played without running that play.
That's true.
When we get to it.
So, this is the last game of the regular season, right?
District championship.
And they're 9-0, and you guys are 9-0. So you guys are playing this game for the district championship. How were you guys prepared for this? Were you ready? Did you feel that any pressure?
Same thing.
Yeah.
They prepped us and we were ready to go. No nerves. I mean,
And we never lost to Halls. We never experienced it. It was kind of the opposite of the Oak Ridge Central game to where we'd always beat Halls. So it was kind of like if anything, was overconfident going to that game, probably.
that's one thing we always let Coach Kerr know about.
Yes,
When we would ride with him to games when Josh
we'd
was head
make
coach.
sure,
We would
yeah.
make sure that Coach Kerr knew that we
would
were
dig up.
undefeated against him. He didn't like that very much.
I'm sure he didn't. Here's some more numbers. Let me throw these out there, and then I'll just have you guys respond to this. Here are the numbers. So rushing yards, y'all had 361 rushing yards against Halls. Halls had 136. Scotty had 285 yards on 24 carries. I did the math. That's the first down. On average, that's the first down every carry. It's 11 point something yards a carry. Talk about your team's performance to capture the district title. I mean, I'd hate to say this to our Hall's brother, but y'all kicked their butt. I mean, you ran all over them.
I don't think I was nervous that game. I just thought it was just, we've got to win this game.
Well, I think us beating them, pretty much.
Yeah.
The year before, we beat them pretty handily
Over there.
Over
Yeah,
there.
it was cold.
So, even though it being 9-0, we kind of, it's part of the one time.
Well, they did travel well, so playing Oak Ridge with that big crowd, because there was a big crowd at that game.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think that was a factor for us because we've seen the Oak Ridge game, but there's a lot of people there too.
Yeah.
Now, Jason, you led the. You may not know this, but you led the team in tackles that game. You had 11 tackles. I know Coach Kerr's offensive strategy forever. He's going to want to run the ball.
Well, he switched it up a little bit.
They were in a wing
They
tee
were
that
in a
game.
wing tee that
Yeah.
Just for y'all?
I guess so. Or did they do it the week before? I can't remember.
I can't remember that, but when I watched it a few weeks ago, for the first time in a long time. I had forgotten they had run a wing team.
And they
I
had
hadn't
some
forgotten.
good skilled, Newly Wayland. They had some good skilled
Yeah.
guys that could run the
Oh,
field.
yeah,
That was the way to get those guys involved.
Right.
Yeah.
I
we're
think
like,
that's
oh.
the game. Didn't they run the kickoff? We scored. No,
That's Powell.
that was Powell.
Yeah.
So Jason, you guys did a pretty good job of limiting. I mean, there were others obviously, but you led the team in solo tackles for that game. Do y'all? I mean, do you remember? Again, this just kind of goes back to a lot of the defensive.
Offensively, I just remember Scotty just
Oh, my God.
going off.
It was that.
I mean, you're blocking and you see him run by, and you're like, "Well, there he goes again."
that was to be
Yeah.
the game that big and him having a game like that.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a legendary game by Scotty. I mean, that was just.
I think Halls too. We were definitely faster than Halls.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, Kerr was always good about using his personnel really well too, and
they
they
had a
were
big
never really fast. So you were going to be in for a physical game.
Yeah, they were big up front.
And what was good for us was we were able to handle their physicality too, and that's the game that I remember mostly running a lot of two tight end look. So Scotty was like the only back there on some occasions.
Yeah.
And it was the story Jason was about to tell.
When we cheated.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Our main set was a pro set, which is for people watching. It's tight end on one side, a flanker on that side, and a split end. But we played two tight ends that game some just to get them to mess their defense up because, like I mentioned earlier, there were a four front, and I coached a four front at Maryville for 16 years, and we don't like two tight ends when you're a four front. So we put that in, and then we were a split back I team. So with only one back, obviously you can't be split backs or I, but we still ran our same plays. And if we wanted a split back play, we'd just shift Bronson or Scotty in that game mostly to one side or the other and run plays off of it. We were a toss sweep team, so we put in a counter where we would toss it to him like we were going that way, but we were blocking everybody this way, and he'd come back this way with the ball. So we had some stuff in there for him, but during the game, the funny part was on one series, it happened 2 or 3 plays, not 2 or 3 series. It happened 2 or 3 plays where we didn't sub correctly, and we had 2 flankers in the game, 2 tight ends, and 2 running backs, which is illegal. That's 12 players.
Did not really.
And did you get a flag?
No, they never called it. But now,
Our tight end was our extra tight end was our tackle. We just put somebody in between him.
so
and
yeah, they didn't really know
Still
this.
tackle.
It was 72, so they didn't catch it. But we finally caught it in that one series and got them out of there, and then made sure we didn't do it anymore. But that was
The bad thing, we didn't even get a first down on that series.
I don't think we scored that series for sure. It was a fun game. It was.
No, and one of Scotty's runs, he breaks loose. Of course, they had a couple quick guys that caught him and hit him, and he had spun, and he had ran backwards 25 yards, backwards, like stumbling backwards. That's how far down the field he was. And then somebody hit him. He stumbled like that, and still, it was an amazing game.
I
For
don't
him.
know if y'all remember too, Scotty, he wasn't like you're fired up.
Yeah, Scotty
punt
never got
stuff,
pumped.
but when we wanted our punts, Halls, they had some signs, some posters. They really had. Scotty was fired up that game. I mean, Scotty, they lit a fire under Scotty that game. Because I remember when me and Yock would warm up punting, heck, they wouldn't even give our balls back when one went out of bounds. But Scotty, I remember going in before the game. He was fired up that game because they were. I mean, they're fans. There was a lot of fans there. That's the first time I ever really noticed poster board. People
There was
cut
a
out.
couple plays he ran that game that I didn't carry my fake out.
Well, let me ask you, and I should know this, but I don't. I'm assuming that's still the single game rushing record.
I think Weston beat it.
Did Weston
I
beat
think
it?
Weston's got it now.
Okay.
I'm not for sure. I think he did get it.
So when you see a guy having a night like this,
In a game like that.
Yeah.
and
In a game like that.
obviously for the district championship, like what's that do to the team? I mean, when you see a guy just pretty much doing what he wants, I mean, like, did he have any 2-yard runs that night? Because obviously the stat sheet doesn't show it, but it doesn't look like it when you start. It looked like
he didn't have many if he had some.
every run was epic.
He had 2 or 3 really long runs too, which makes that total bigger. But still, he was
He
getting
had another
yardage.
touchdown. He got tripped up on one, just barely.
Nearly,
tripped up.
Yeah, that was like the early in the game
Yeah.
where he got.
There's a run though that game that's amazing is Greg Stennett somehow is almost stride for stride with Scotty. I still don't
Down the
understand
field,
how
yeah.
that's possible still on the long runs. He's running right behind Scotty and
He's step for step
he's
with
step
him.
for step at 6 foot tall, 280.
Yeah, that's
Talking about adrenaline pumping. So
So y'all beat them that game 31-18. So you're 10-0. You win the district, and you know you're going into. So I think the highest you guys got ranked nationally, I think you got up to 11, I believe, in the USA Today national poll. So you're ranked 11 in the country for high school football. You're number 1 in the state in Tennessee. You just finished an undefeated season, and you start the playoffs. And your reward is you got Maryville. You know, and Maryville is Maryville. I mean, they're good. So y'all, you got them at home. Handle them pretty easy though. What do y'all remember about them? I think y'all beat them 46-14. I think that's kind of what stood out to you about your first postseason game.
well, I can remember that week of the first playoff game. First time we saw the coaches you saw them kind of start stepping up. Things got serious. Temper's a little short by the coaches. I remember myself, Coach Garrett threw me out of the offensive practice one day, and I was kind of like, what?
You remember that, Coach?
No,
I'm sitting there like,
I'm not denying it.
he goes, get out of here. I remember going, I was like, what did I do? I don't remember what but I can just remember that. And I remember once again, going down to the pregame meal and once again going to the pregame offensive meeting and getting done and going back, getting taped up. And Coach Ingo, this is our offensive line coach, was also our trainer. He's who taped everybody up. I remember sitting there and he's taping me up, and he and I was real close because of that, because every game I was by myself with him, first guy getting taped up. And him looking at me dead serious and going, are we going to win tonight? I'm like, what are you talking about? We're going to win. I knew right then, I was like, these coaches, they're a little tight now. Because it's playoffs, I mean,
You win or go home.
I'm not sure if Clinton ever had a home playoff game ever. I mean, because the year they had 86, I guess it was 2 away games. So that's what I knew. I said, well, the same things got a little tighter. It's got serious.
So you all beat Maryville 46-14, and then you have to roll up your sleeves a little bit. You guys have to go to the road, on the road, and you go to Cocke County. I think Cocke County has kind of a unique home field advantage. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Wow.
Is that the one where it's in someone's backyard?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like
I don't know, they were on us when we got off the bus, and they were on us at halftime. I mean, their fans were.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard profanity before. I mean, not at a football game like that.
And not me. I mean, directly right at us.
I never had nothing.
Yeah, by adult, 17-year-old.
And I had never had nothing thrown at me
Yeah.
either. So it was a different atmosphere for sure. But like I said, I know Brody and Bronson probably remember we kicked. I said, boys, we're in the ball game now.
ball
'Cause,
game now.
I mean, we did cruise through the Campbell counties, and then when Cocke County was a hard-hitting football team.
They had some good athletes.
I don't think we were ready for it either. I think we thought it's Cocke County because
Yeah.
back then, Jeff.
We just didn't know much about it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, because they had upset Jeff County the first round, and Jeff County back then was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
So his team, we never even heard of Cocke County. Probably, you ever heard of? I mean, never heard of Cocke County. So I think first of all, we was a little overconfident probably going to that game, but going to that field, it's like they dropped the field in the middle of the woods. It was definitely a different surrounding. I tell all people, it's like it reminds me of Negaff as a kid growing up. It was kind of.
It was definitely dark around the whole
Yes,
field.
yes.
It was woods everywhere.
and they were fired up. They were definitely fired up.
So, Darren, you shared a story a couple weeks ago that you guys you after the Maryville game, you guys kind of make a tradition of coming back, that you'd get behind and you'd come back. So, talk about after the first half, you guys go into your locker room.
Well, first of all, it's the first time we've been down the whole season. We were losing at halftime.
Yeah.
And going to their locker room, it ain't like going to the ends. you had to go through their bleachers pretty much.
Oh, that wouldn't be intimidating.
So they had of course, they're ahead. They're beating the number 2 team in the state. And Cotton County was the runner-up in their district. They didn't win their district. So they have to kind of get security. And I think there's 1 or 2 of them trying to get us a little part. And we're having to do it ourselves pretty much. We're having to force ourselves through the fans. And of course, we're kind of, not being real smart. We're saying things to them. Well, all of a sudden, some guy says, "You guys got a problem." Looks at me, and I can't say what he said. And we said something back. He pulls up his jacket. He's got a gun in his belt, and that's what a high school football game, 1992 too. So this is not so. Next thing you know, we're pushing, shoving to get to the locker room.
I bet so.
You get into the locker room was impossible to start with. There was a gate about as wide as that chair right there. So we were going through single file.
Yeah.
And you guys are taking.
You're forcing your way
on your
You
way.
think Clinton fans were backing us through that year? Just think what they're second round the playoffs,
Yeah.
and
Not
they
supposed to be
they
there.
just upset Jeff County, so they're
And got the lead.
Oh yeah, they're
And
Scott
yeah.
probably had never even heard of Cotton County, been
No.
to Cotton County,
Didn't know what to expect.
didn't know they had rooster fights up there in Cotton County, anything else.
And Scotty got hurt the first quarter, second quarter, so he was out.
Oh, I didn't know
First
that.
half, yeah.
So y'all
he got was it right at halftime?
It was right after the second
Because he got
quarter.
punched in the second quarter.
Something happened and
uh,
got sick. Yeah,
yeah.
got sick or something and didn't play the rest after the first quarter.
So you guys come out second half, and obviously you gotta come back. What happens? How does the second half?
They come back shorthanded because one of their starting tailbacks had thrown a punch at Scotty on the sideline and got thrown out of the game. So they're coming out missing one of those guys, and they ran a beer. And
That might be why their fans were mad.
yeah, they
when we went out.
it was one of those right. It was last play
right at the end of the
yeah,
half.
That's right. Yeah.
last play of the first half, and they thrown him out, and of course, I guess that just lit the fuse. And
So
it was
both, so both teams.
But you
got
never
off
think
the
it's
play.
going to lead to gunplay.
Yeah,
no.
No, it's first time. Definitely first time.
So what was the approach for you guys coming out in the second half? I mean, here you are, first time you've been
I
down.
don't think we changed
I think we
anything.
probably got in power out a little bit more.
I don't remember what either.
Yeah, we went
We
power out.
ran the same things.
And Jason and Cliff Daniels in the game. And then
Ran them more.
Yeah.
Were they running you? Did you run more wide, and Jason, you more run off tackle, or?
I think it's more just this is the fullback because
Yeah.
every time Scotty took off somewhere, they were 10 guys going that way. Same
Cliff
thing with
had-
him.
These two guys, Cliff and
Cliff and him
He probably had his
fantastic
best game.
Yeah, Cliff had 100 yard, right at 100 yards rushing. that game.
as
He
a
had, the,
fullback.
he had the big run at the very end to kind of seal it, to put it away.
So here's an interesting quote for you. I read it. This was in in one of the papers that I read. This is from Larry Williams, who's the coach at Cotton County. He said, "We played them tough, and we did a good job stopping wit. But the other guys, they stepped up and made a difference. Yacht, Jason, Cliff Daniels had key performances offensively. Talk about those other guys a little bit. I mean,
Well,
how did they help you?"
Since Yock's not here, I'll say it. Yock finally caught a pass.
Yeah, state record at
He
the
found,
time.
yeah. So,
And just so everyone knows at home, Yock was supposed to be here, but we got a message this morning that he was not coming. So we all talked about maybe throwing some shade on him, but I guess everybody's going to be nice.
We
So-
still love him.
yeah, we still have him.
So and Jason, you had a pretty big game. I guess you were happy to sneak out of there with a win and get on back to Clinton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, the same fans that were there at halftime weren't there at the end of the game, so we were happy about that, so we could make it back into the
We didn't leave the field, though, for a while.
Yeah,
we stayed,
we kinda
on the
hung
field
around.
for just a little while.
We got
got
banged
banged
up in that game. I got banged up, and then Scotty got hurt, and there was a couple other. Didn't you have something? I mean,
I don't think so.
I know we had some people get banged up. I mean,
So after you're 2-0 in the playoffs, and then you get to come back home, but you're going to play a Riverdale team. Now, guys, I want to tell you something about this one. If you look at the stats, if you look at the box score, and you cover up the game score, y'all got beat. I mean that if you look at the numbers,
It was similar maybe to the Oak Ridge game where they got some yards, but we made some plays defensively. The guy had never hardly thrown an interception all year long, and
Yeah, I read
Bronson,
that.
I think Bronson got one early in the
Scotty
game.
got the very first one, and they were driving. He caught it on the goal line.
Yeah,
and returned it because.
And then we got a sack on Coach Holbrook, got him ready for.
So
a
y'all
third.
picked him off twice?
Oh,
Johnson
yeah,
got a
yeah.
pick,
Got
and
twice.
Scotty got a
I
pick?
think we got a sack fumble too.
Yeah, he's only threw one all year.
And
Like
you picked him
30
off.
touchdown passes and 1 or 2
Brian
interceptions.
Davis, he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's a big old boy too.
Yeah, where did he go? Did he go to school?
I think he just went to Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, he wound up going there, I think.
So you guys were trailing in that game 14-7 at
We were trailing pretty much the whole game till we
the half.
finally got the lead.
So what did you learn about them in that first half of play?
They were who they were advertised to be.
Yeah, they were good. That
Yeah.
was a good team. Coach Rankin was the coach
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And they run
Really
defeated.
ranking.
They run defeated, and they were picked to win. We were the underdogs that game. That was the talk all week. That we were done. There was people in town that was going to be. Our
It was
last
a good
game.
run, guys. Good job.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
lot
vaguely
of talk
remember
about
that.
Yeah, there
So
was a
you-
lot of talk.
I know we talked when we talked about it when we first met. One of the things, like, I mean, the home field had to play a huge role there. I mean, you play that game at Riverdale, maybe it turns out different.
Yeah. Yes.
But that wasn't the way it was.
Well, I don't know about the sound though. They brought jugs that had pumpkin seed in them, and they remember that they shake when we were on offense, and it was kind of like, Darren, what did you say? And of course,
Well, I remember warming up. I don't know if Coach Rankin did it on purpose or not, but they walked on the field when they got there. We were already warming up, and I remember them coming, and they all had their Florida State color suits on, and they walked on the field single file. And I remember looking over, going, "Huh, this might be our last game." Because we hadn't seen nobody with that kind of size. And I remember Coach Gator joking about me not carrying my fakes out. But I remember the first possession, we do a tall sweep to Scotty, and they had a safety who was just as big as Scotty, if not bigger. And I was already, in my mind, that's a touchdown. He cut up down the field. It's probably a 15-yard run. When that safety hit Scotty, and I saw, the way he hit him, nobody I'd ever seen him get hit like that before. And I was like, okay, this is the real deal. This is going to be a night tonight. And it
stood over him when he did.
Oh
it.
yeah, it was one of
Antonio
those.
Peebles, but I think he played at UT.
I remember that name.
That was him.
He was. Oh, and I was.
And Alvin Dukes was on that team.
Yeah.
Alvin
Oh,
Dukes
they had 3 or 4
Yeah.
Division One SEC players on that team.
So y'all come out, you go into halftime down 14-7, but you come out in the second half and you guys scored 12 points. And again, Riverdale does not score. You have another half where your defense pitches a shutout. What adjustments did you make in that second half?
Well, that was a halftime speech we can't talk about. It was.
Well, I know Coach Gator ain't going to remember it, so
I don't remember that one. I think it's because it didn't happen.
I think we were more worried about trying to get some adjustments done. So there wasn't nothing.
Yeah, they.
All coaches were trying to figure out we need to do this, we need to do that.
We really did make some big plays defensively because
We blitzed a lot that game.
we put pressure on. Yeah, he hadn't been hit like he got hit that game.
did you normally blitz that much, or was it an extra?
Not really.
Not really.
didn't have to.
We would when we needed to more than anything, like most people.
He got pancaked a couple of times.
Yeah,
really
we,
good.
he always had this saying. I know Teddy did. And
Hold them up.
we hold him up. I mean, we've been holding
hit
him
the
up.
ball or hit them just as hard. I mean,
Yeah.
So when you blitz, did y'all blitz some linebackers, or did you get blitz secondary? Where did-
Yes. Mostly those guys.
We set the zoo a lot. on that
Bronson
game.
was there a lot.
It was one of us too, because if he blitzed and they got around him, it was like, because if they had the corner block, there's nobody else out there. So it was usually me or Liner.
The
Most of him,
defense
'cause he's
did
5
play.
yards.
The offense played good, but the defense kept it like it was. So it was just 14-7 at halftime, and not worse.
Right.
Because we made some big interceptions, and like I said, one of the plays I remember, even before I rewatched it, was they would run their running back in motion
Yeah.
close to the goal line, and then try to hit their tight, get a linebacker to leave or whatever, and then hit a tight end. And we had gotten ready for that play, and I had forgotten a few weeks ago when we talked. I thought we'd intercepted the pass, but no, we had covered the guy real good, so they'd always thrown it to him, so he really didn't know what to do with it. And about that time,
We sacked him.
we've hammered him, and that was inside the 20-yard line. Whenever all that happened,
See, that's a prep thing that we were talking about earlier. When we'd start practice on offense, we ran 10 and 11 slip every day. That's just the I played them. We ran that every day. That's the basics play we had. Well, we got to run it every day. We know what we're going to do, but it was every day. We made it perfect.
Well, I just think in these key moments, if you guys, obviously you had Scotty. Obviously there was, you had other people that were putting up big offensive numbers. But in these critical games, the Oak Ridge game, and we're getting to it, the Halls game, the Cott County game, the Riverdale game. Y'all's defense bowed its neck. And held. To come back out and to hold that Riverdale team scoreless in a half. I bet that wasn't a dish they got served up too much.
Well, there wasn't that game still this day. It's amazing. In the second half, we scored to cut it to 14-13 with like 4 or 5 minutes going third quarter.
and then they took
Riverdale
on
keeps the ball
a long
for
time.
12 minutes. 12 minutes.
3 yards here, 3 yards there.
We didn't see the ball again until the game went in drive again. And we had a
penalty fumble to get the ball back. They didn't punt it to us.
they tell a story, Jason, there's a late hit, and then Jason roughs their punter. They get to keep it. And except those, we're at the other end of the field. Me and a couple of the guys don't play defense. We're already, teary eye. I've already got my shoulder pads unbuckled. It's 4 minutes to go. They're at about 20-yard line. They're about to go in and score and end this game. They're just, it's been, we hadn't had the ball in an hour. It was forever. I remember this day, I was at the other 20, like, this is it. It's over. And all of a sudden, still don't know why they call that play they called. But Bronson forces the fumble. We get the ball. I'm sprinting down the field, hooking my shoulder pads back up. And after that, the rest of it's,
Bronson, what I'm getting from all this is whenever they needed to play,
yes,
you made
yes.
it. If they needed an interception, you made it. If they needed a fumble created, you
That's our go-to guy.
We talk about being down like that and then coming back, and you hear stories about, coach in the locker room with us. So much of football has carved out the character for a lot of us. I think as we've gotten older, I know it has for me. So,
And right then, too, like you said, I don't know why. We only had, going into that possession, we only had first downs on 3 possessions. But I don't know why. It never crossed my mind we wouldn't go down and score. It never crossed my mind when we got that fumble, we weren't going to score.
We hit a big pass
Was it
real
the
early
first
in
play?
that.
Yeah.
Was it the first play we called?
It was
First or second,
44
Stand
X.
on our highlight film of that Riverdale games. He gets the pass and he spins the ball to get the laces. And it's just he does it all, this one little motion, spins it, and just throws it.
Well,
And we watched that over 100 times.
there's a
let
reason.
him do that.
It's just it's just the coolest thing in the world for him to spin that ball and then release it. And
He used to do that all the
watch
time.
him trying to see where it's at.
Well, that's the one Coach Gary probably don't know this at all. Jason Watson's one of those guys a lot of people don't remember. But Jason was the leading receiver probably all 3 years in high school. And we grew up best friends time we were 2 or 3 years old. But he catches this post route, and he has to reverse his field to go catch the ball over his shoulder. Makes this unbelievable catch, though. And he comes back to huddle and goes, "I'm sorry." I go, "What?" He goes, "I had my contacts in. I would have had to do that." I'm like, you're the third round of playoff, Jason, and you forget your contacts that you see. But
Well, I got to tell you, on all the box scores that I looked through for your all's game, it's that one that stood out to me, because there were some other games that were kind of slugfest that you guys had, but that one, if you cover up the score, they should have won. Like if you just look at time of possession, you look at yards, you look at all the things you normally look at to determine an outcome of a game. They were until you
Except probably turnovers. Since we forced some turnovers, that can always make up.
I think
for it.
that interception, that first interception, I think or you fumbled a snap, didn't you?
yeah, I fumbled it. Yeah.
I think we turned it right back over.
Oh, we did. It was the very next play.
It was the next play.
Yeah.
But overall, we still turned them over more.
Yeah.
At least you didn't interrupt the punter.
Yeah.
That's a fun. I'll tell on Jason. when we get the ball at fumble, we get in the huddle. Jason is in tears. He's in tears. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. He was already, we were all, it was one of those things where they catch the
Except for
ball.
Bronson, he's the one that made the play.
They had the ball for 12 minutes and they didn't score.
Yeah.
Now that comes back to Coach Holbrook, Coach Boskamp, Coach Frag, and Coach Rod. That was our defensive coach.
Yeah, we had some coaches.
Yeah, I mean, and they, like I say, Coach Holbrook would prepare us in practice, and it was, if he didn't like something, we went over it again.
Yeah.
If he didn't like it,
I mean,
then
we've had
he-
probably the longest Thursday practices
yes,
of
he would go
any team in
over,
history.
we caught it one
But
time.
we would run all our plays that we were planning on running that game, and sometimes we didn't run one that we had planned to run. We would run all our plays against dummies, and then Coach Holbrook would. And then I don't know how, I didn't realize we had like 9 coverages in our goal line defense.
We would make him so mad. He would yell us so much that he would start to get stuff on the. You remember usually he would start to get little foam on the corners of his mouth, and we're like, we're going to be here for another hour in practice.
And I was always the scout squad quarterback, so I was like having to tell the other whoever the other team was, I was doing their stuff.
Picking us
And
apart.
Coach Holbrook is, what I remember most about him, great coach. Everybody had a gap, and if you wasn't in your gap, or if, he would not run a defense if there was going to be a gap open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I ended up defensive coordinator at Maryville for a long time, and I still use stuff like that. Now, there were a few times I didn't have every gap covered. I'd have a good guy that could cover gaps on, a good linebacker that could cover gaps on both sides. But our Thursday practices, we'd run over goal line defense, which is probably why we won some of these games.
I remember that.
We were really good. I mean, I was watching it this week. We'd take out one of our Yock would come out. Our small end would come out, whoever that happened to be. And somebody else would come out. So we would and we had an 8-man front. It was a goal line defense, 6'5", whatever. But we had like 7 coverages with it. We had like cover 4, which meant 4 guys covered passes, and everybody else had cover 5. And we probably never ran 2 or 3 of them, but they were prepared to run them if he called it.
Just like offense, 10 slip, 11 slip every day. I mean, just-
Bringing back so many memories.
yeah, yeah.
So y'all beat Riverdale, and Coach, I want to, before we get into the Halls game, when we were together the first time, and I didn't realize this until I was going through and I was at, you were second-year head coach, and you beat that season. You beat Gaddis, state championship winner. You beat Rankin at Riverdale, state championship winner. You beat Kerr twice, a state championship winner. You're a second-year coach, and you beat 4 teams that had won state championships.
Well, first off, I didn't beat any of them. They've already mentioned all the coaches on the staff that were great coaches and great men, and so I tried to get us ready to beat people, and then these guys did,
Well, we're
these
missing
guys
Coach
did
Gillespie.
Coach Gillespie was
He's no longer with us. But
the young coach that we had brought in. But and then the thing I'm most proud of, not even talking about this year, but these guys, them two and him, I think, helped coach later on when they came back. And they weren't the only ones. There were Ted Phillips helped coach. So these guys are important to Clinton in more than just
and don't let him lie. We got some outfits and we got fed on Thursdays. That's about it. We didn't get paid. We did it for the
Matter of fact,
love.
after he left from Maryville, I think he owed me some money still.
Yeah,
I heard y'all got some Rolexes.
Well, that was from him. He spent his whole Christmas on us, which was pretty good.
But look, our coaches we had been there together, most of those guys, since the early 80s. I mean, so they had been together a long time, too.
It was my second year as head coach, but I was the offensive coordinator before that. And this is a good time to mention the head coach that brought me to Clinton was Ron Brown, who first coached at Oliver Springs and then came to Clinton. And I owe everything to Coach Brown. I was a kicker in college, and nothing against kickers. I mean, I played baseball too.
They've got the right shoe, right?
No, he had the right shoe. Poor old Don Trail.
I mean, I played baseball too, so that I wasn't just a kicker. But anyway, at UT we didn't even have to stay at practice after our kicking session was over. So I paid no attention to anything. So I went to Oneida my first 2 years when I left college, and coached up there as an assistant and coached baseball there. And then when I came to Clinton, Coach Ron Brown was the head coach. Mike Overton, who was a long snapper at UT when I kicked, and Dale Snipeman was a punter at UT, and then me. There were three of us that had played together, and then Mike Stevens was the offensive coordinator, and Coach Engel had started helping at that time. Coach Holbrook came in later and was helping.
Coach Mason.
Coach Mason was like the Coach Engel at that time. A tough guy that the guys really look up to, Vietnam vet. And any credit that I get, I always go to that staff back before these guys were there. And these guys came to a bunch of the games and grew up with these guys, so they can speak to them as well.
Well, and I think that's what, when we met the first time, I think that's what I heard from a lot of you guys, is that y'all grew up there.
Yeah, when the headsets, they didn't have cordless headsets. It was cords. So we would go and be the cord guy. We'd roll it up and they'd move and roll it up.
So it was a part of your all's DNA.
Oh, yeah, that was, we loved just being around
Now,
it.
Bronson, was that true for you from Oliver Springs? Was that still,
I got into football a little bit late. A
Okay.
little bit late in Oliver Springs, so not so much.
Okay.
That's what's special about this group. That we're Clinton and we're in the city, but we're a county school. So we had these guys coming from everywhere.
Yeah,
And to get them as close as they were is a tribute to them. And I think the staff that we had, I know some of those staff guys, when we used to have two-a-days, we'd go get players that couldn't get a ride there. We even quit two-a-days at one time because we was afraid they'd go home and we couldn't get them back. Because that's 15 miles away.
Right.
Oh, I used to go pick up
We think we
Bronson
had
all
a
the time.
4-day two-a-day because y'all were like, this is the shortest two-a-day we'll ever have, ever. Yep. And we were like, yeah, all right. But we didn't know the reason why. We were happy that we're just...
But I was lucky as enough growing up. I grew up with two brothers and sisters. Who
Brothers
played.
play.
So my mom drove a school bus. So I know Coach Gaylor and those coaches since I was 7, 8 years old. I would ride the school bus over, walk over to the field house, stay for practice. I'd sit on they used to have a bench there on the sideline. I'd sit on that bench and watch practice, 5, 6 years old until I was getting ready to play. So I knew the coaches pretty well and was very comfortable with them, knew who they were. They were all teachers, which is very unheard of nowadays to have a staff full of all teachers.
Math teachers, biology teachers,
So the respect for those guys,
Social studies.
social studies. They wasn't all PE guys.
it ain't like it is now with coaches are, not saying they wasn't players coaches, but back then it was a respect thing with those guys. I mean, there was that's why I enjoy going back, and Coach Gutter asked me to coach a few years later with him. I got to know him more. I got to know him personally. I got to hear some of the stories we can't definitely tell here for sure. But it was having that kind of staff where you very seldom saw anybody get into arguments on the sidelines. Every now and then fragging vase maybe. But that's who they were, though. They were spirited. We'll call them spirited. But, Coach Gaylor, I mean, I can't remember too many times where if I made a bad play or threw an interception where he got on to me. He may ask me why I did that or something, or it may be until Monday. It was a next play kind of thing. So, but we were very lucky with that. I mean, just, had those guys they all was in town too.
Right.
So you saw them. I mean, it wasn't like you just saw them on practicing games too. So
We still see a couple of them, Coach Fragamini and Coach Voss, and it's always Coach Voss or Coach Frag.
Yeah.
I've never called him Frank, and I've never called him Barry. I've never called him Jimmy. It's always been Coach Gaylor.
Right.
When I texted him to get on this show, I said, Coach.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything to
Right.
Coach. So, that was...
So you guys, 4 weeks prior, you just hammered Halls. So they come back, and this is they're standing between you guys and a trip to Nashville, and it's a different game. Can you talk a little bit about it? What was going on that night that kind of changed things?
The rain during the day.
It's cold.
Yeah, December.
Yeah, it rained.
Having to
rained
play
all-
somebody twice that quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not know, playing them so well, playing so well that first game, not knowing, well, should we keep the same kind of plan or should we throw a few wrinkles in? But I think the weather was probably the worst part. And Halls was a good team, a really good team. So it wasn't going to be like it was that first game, no matter what. Probably.
Because we weren't expecting to see them again. You know, they went down there. Who they?
Lebanon. They played
They
Lebanon.
upset the Lebanon team. We were assuming that's who we was going to play. We weren't expecting to see Halls again.
So you guys go into the locker room at halftime, and once again, you're trailing. It's 7-0. But this time, instead of Bronson making a play, Jason makes a play. Before, talk about the play. Just I know this has gotten a little traction. So let's go ahead and we'll cut into it.
So at this point, we're behind 10-7, maybe.
Yes.
And you know the weather's, it's the worst possible situation for us.
It's our
a bad
normal. It's no turf back then,
Yeah.
so it's a field that's had all our games, all the JV games, all the nut cut games on Saturdays. So it's like playing on dirt, pretty much.
Yeah, it was. You couldn't
And
stand
it
up.
was brown. It wasn't green anymore.
Yeah,
It's
No,
already-
it hadn't been
it's
green.
green, so it's dead.
It was.
So it's just.
It was mid-30s, muddy. Couldn't stand up hardly. It was one of those where it killed our speed. I mean, what we wanted to do. It was perfect for their.
Perfect for them.
And they set up to where they weren't going to let
Dexterity
Scotty.
was bad.
Yeah, they wouldn't let Scotty go and get 281 yards again. They had already made that decision.
I would imagine
They had 9 or 10
And if
guys
the
in.
weather would have been okay, that'd been fine because
Yeah.
we just threw the ball
Yeah.
off. Because
We-
we were as
we-
good out wide, they just didn't get the as much traction or whatever.
I mean, just getting a snap was a goal.
I remember
It was
the
that bad.
dexterity.
Oh, it was just. I mean, it was so. Well, that you said that video of the plays on there. You can tell there. Even the camera is.
It's
the whole-
foggy.
Yeah, the
lens is
field's a
foggy.
mess.
Well, it looks like it was one of those old school Packers versus Bears NFL film.
Yeah.
Jason just comes running out of the fog, you know, and it's like, yeah. So what?
So we're down 10-7 when we faced a fourth in about 5 maybe.
And
5
we
or
just
6.
got done at inside the 5.
Oh, so it's a fourth down call.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know it was fourth down call. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
fourth and 6.
Yeah.
And they had just stopped us at the 1 yard line a few minutes before. Mm-hmm. I mean, we
The series before, yeah.
we had been all about to the game winning drive, and we couldn't. You know, it was one of those shocking things. They stopped us 4 downs in a row inside the 5. So it's 4th and 6. I mean, it's Gator calls time, Coach Gator calls timeout, and he goes silent. He calls this play. We haven't ran it. We haven't even practiced it. Not alone in a game. We have not practiced this play
Since William Blunt.
in 2 months.
Which is why I always and why they talk about how football smart
Yeah.
they were. They
Oh.
remembered 90% of it. I mean,
didn't question
I'm
the
sure he had to tell a few of the linemen what to do.
Jason, did you question?
Yeah, I asked Aaron. I says the inside handoff. Or
Yeah, that's because we had some plays where he was it was power eye. He shifted
Yeah.
to the slot. And then we had plays where we'd fake the sweep and then give him
I
an
think it was
inside
I think it was
handoff.
right wing 43 reverse.
Yeah.
And but we get in the huddle, and I call it, and a couple of guys are like, "Oh, I said, well, okay, this is what's going to go on." Benji report on kicking in, and
So you had to use your hand.
oh yeah, it was one of those where we kind of had it because you get in the huddle and you're calling, you're like, "Okay, let's make sure," because we have a play. Well, we had a play used to be out of that same set was what was I guess it would be 21-20 trap where we'd fake the sweep and do an inside handoff. That's where the confusion was.
That's where he
Yeah,
So you didn't know if you were going to.
Yes.
fake the sweep, which we ran
Yeah.
lots and lots of times, and then give an inside handoff.
So this one, we're faking a blast play, inside play, and doing an outside handoff. We broke the huddle, and we're going to line of scrimmage, and Jason kind of tugs on, he goes, inside or outside? And here we are, the biggest play in Clinton history. I go, outside handoff.
Yeah.
And then he wants to play on video, and you can tell there's no, I mean, it's,
Well, you know,
you can't tell there's any issue.
when we started this whole process, I was talking to Robbie Harrell, principal at the high school, and he asked me about if I remembered the run that Jason's run. I was like, no, I and he said, well, you get a chance because you. And then of course it wasn't a week after that it showed up on the Clinton football alumni page, and I as soon as I saw it, I said, that's the run. Because you when you get down in the end zone, you do the Michael Jackson slide on two knees through was that on purpose, or did you get, or did, I mean,
I'll be honest, I just wore out.
That's the fastest I'd seen him run in a while.
Well, the longest amount of
The
time.
longest distance right there. I was like, he scored.
If I remember the play right, we blocked it really well.
Oh, yeah.
That he right at the first down marker, he broke a tackle.
Yeah.
when you
Then they wouldn't catch
We
me
were
right
sure
there.
we're going to get the first down.
Yeah, we had
when you turned the corner, you had a lane to run in. I mean, like it was there, and then you took off, and then the camera on the play, the camera angle switches. At first, it's from a distance, and I can see you run through the
End zone.
through the hole, and then the
go
camera
to the ground,
switches to
yeah.
the front, and it's on the ground.
Yeah.
And
So that probably was like a TV shot then,
Yeah.
like for Friday Night Hits or something. If we did all that, because we didn't have that many cameras shooting off the team film.
Well, you actually you kind of jumped through the hole almost too. It was to keep your foot on that play was, to me, was what the amazing part of it was, because the field was
And we
atrocious.
We had pony cleats. We weren't fancy. We had
I was just
screw-in
thinking to
cleats,
get 4 yards.
Yeah, he was getting first down, but
That was what we were hoping.
I couldn't keep any footing. Scotty couldn't get any footing. Bronson, it was hard to get any footing. I mean, there was no cutback runs. It was the Larry Kerr style of football.
When the ball was snapped, there was mud.
Yeah.
It was on the ball.
now, wasn't there a play where you were supposed to throw it, and you got, and when Rhodey handed you the ball, you thought he handed you a mud pie?
And what was bad, Jason Watson's by himself in the end zone, and you couldn't throw it. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, it wasn't even. You was cupping mud's all you had. Because you remember, Jason played every down. He was center, linebacker, long
I was
snapper,
a little muddy.
kick,
I was
mud.
dirty.
So when he snapped it, I mean, if you watch it, at least usually he grabs my towel before every play.
Yeah.
But he was always soaking.
He's being nice. I'd turn around and go, "What's the count on?"
Yeah.
Because I'd forget.
So were you mad when you saw a wide receiver open in the end zone, and
you'll have to ask him. I'm not really.
was he mad?
He wasn't
don't
mad,
remember.
but Coach Voskamp and Coach Frag are screaming bloody. He had called timeout because I think this was the drive before. So when that happened, it led to like a 4th and 5 or 3rd and 5. So Coach Keller calls timeout, and I'm walking to the sideline, and Coach Frag and Coach Voss were coming at me, and I'm pointing at them, and Gator looks over and I says, I'm telling Coach Gator, get them.
Get him away from me.
They're mad because I didn't throw the ball. I was like, I couldn't have threw if I wanted to.
Right.
But yeah, that was Colin Gator, of course, tells him to, back off. But no, he wasn't upset with me.
So y'all hang on and win that game, and you're 14-0. And from the run you had the previous season, Clinton has won 21 straight games. And y'all load up and head to Nashville. You got a 14-0, 21. What's the team's focus when you're? I mean, like, what are y'all thinking when you're driving up there? I mean, this is your first championship game.
We went the night before, so we got to enjoy Nashville.
Yeah.
Eating, went to a movie.
So remember the Friday practice, or was it Friday? Yeah, we played on Saturday, right?
Tennessee State.
Tennessee State.
right.
It was nasty.
Yeah.
And it was cold.
Yeah, they were guys running track and they were unhooking. Some of their track guys were unhooking. We're like, we're not running in this. So here we are out there trying to practice it.
Yeah.
So it was cold.
Yeah.
I mean, were you nervous? Did you sleep? I mean, like, this is kind of the gold standard of Clinton football here.
Who was it? Me, you, and Dontrell, and somebody else in the room.
All I know is Coach Geller put me, Scotty,
Okay, you were in another
in
room.
the same room.
Yeah.
He was right beside the castle.
Me, Jason, and you and Scotty, and look at the peephole, and there's Coach Gator sitting in the chair outside our room.
Yeah, we was like,
Jason,
I remember staying awake. Me and Dontrell.
Yeah,
I
it
don't remember
was-
who else
yeah.
was in that. Watson. Was Jason in y'all's room?
Yeah, and we're staying at the Hyatt, so
Yeah,
here we
so
are.
it's not
We don't
from
know
there.
places. We don't know places like this. We're at the Hyatt downtown Nashville. I mean, it's
Big old open center. So
Yeah,
you're
we're
looking
like,
down,
we're,
checking out.
so
I just like, man, why they put me and Scotty? Man, Scotty was like, why they put us right beside Coach Gaylor's office?
You didn't think there's a reason for that?
Well, I'm sure there was a reason.
it's the genius of Coach Gator once again. He called the right play again.
Yeah, that's funny.
In hindsight, this is one of those iffy things too. Later, as a coach at Maryville, we never spent the night. we just treat it like a regular game.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't have many second thoughts or second wishes about anything. But in hindsight, after being a part of that game more times, you know, at the Maryville, there might have been one to just drive down there and play. Except these guys, like I said, when they went to Cotton County, they'd never been to Cotton County before. And I'm pretty sure they had not, I know they hadn't experienced anything that we were experiencing.
Yeah.
So I also think it was great that we got to go down there the night before and just enjoy each other. And
The closest thing we had was junior high. We played in Cookville. You remember that? And it was a night game. We played on
Tennessee Tech.
Tennessee Tech. That was the closest. And I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And now we're going to Vanderbilt and playing. So
Yeah, we got to go over to UT and practice at UT.
yeah, got to practice all that week.
know,
we could have done that and still
let's
go down.
Yeah.
A lot of us, the game was like at 8 o'clock or whatever because we were AAA, so we were the last game. Just made that Saturday a long day. And the schedule's already messed up because it was Saturday instead of a Friday.
We were having team meetings for hours.
Yeah.
So
It was a long day. Yeah.
looking back, that might be something I would change, but I don't think at that time that was the wrong thing to do. I think everybody kind of did it that way.
If we had done that, it'd probably been the only people left in Clinton because everybody else had already been down
Yeah,
there.
they already left.
It was a great experience
Yeah,
for a lot of for a lot of us because a lot of us had never seen turf before. You know, we had never worn turf shoes before, so there was a
And that's why we got the practice. at
That was a
UT,
good story
because-
too. How we got our turf shoes
it was interesting.
from one of our rivals. Oak Ridge had played the year before and had turf shoes, and
I forgot that.
they
You're
weren't
right.
going to let us. They weren't going to use them, so they loaned us. They piled them up. There's a big pile of shoes, and
That was
I
very-
think I had a cardinal colored shoes on when I played.
That's very nice of you to say, Rody. They weren't
I
going to use
I'm a
them.
nice
I
guy.
ain't believe he said that. Yeah.
I know. I was like, yeah. If I were somebody from Oak Ridge, I might get offended by that.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't using them. So I'm sorry. Let's just get back to the
Yeah.
question.
Next.
Next question. So I looked up the attendance. December 12th, 1992. According to newspaper records, there were 23,000 people at your all's game. You versus Gallatin. Did it feel like there were 23,000 people in the stadium to you guys at the time? Because obviously, even if the Oak Ridge game did hit 8,000 people, this is
Well,
something else.
Gallatin's local, so they had like a 30-minute drive.
Yeah. But y'all traveled well.
This is the first time Clinton's been that far, and we did travel well. So there was, it's exciting atmosphere. It probably involved all sorts of things that night.
So you guys come out of the gates pretty quick. I mean, you score on a few plays, a long pass from you, Darren, to Scotty, and you guys take a lead.
Second play of the game.
Yeah.
You punch first and draw first blood.
Yep.
How you feeling at that point?
Feeling pretty good. It's pretty good. Didn't feel any better, that's for sure.
And then their series, we intercept them, and Scotty returns. And do you remember the return? Scotty's running down the field, and the ball
drops
pops up. He pops out. He just keeps running. He don't ever stop or try to turn the ball. He just keeps running. And the ball's laying on the ground. But we intercepted them, so we're really going. Here we go.
Yeah. So when you played them, once you get out there, Darren, I think you said something the other night when we were all talking. You had some games where you were a little nervous until you got hit the first time, and that's kind. So once you guys had hit a little bit, what was your impressions of Gallatin?
They're big. They average 305 across the offensive line.
That was probably the first team that I remember playing that I really noticed a difference.
Yeah, they were big and fast.
Yeah.
And they had been to the championship
Yeah.
game. They had lost to Oak Ridge the year before in the championship game.
So this is
So
back
they had
actually-
come back, and I think that was
Yeah.
one of the factors in the game too.
I met their fullback in the hole, and man, it was like he looked like Captain Caveman.
Oh yeah, he's hairy.
Or the guy on the Geico commercial, he had chest hair out there. I remember going back to the thing and said, "Boys, we are
Yeah.
them one now."
I remember that. I remember you. Yeah.
He looked like Barry Gibb off the Bee Gees. He had the-
Because I remember you thinking you got knocked out.
Yeah.
You thought you blocked out. I was like,
Me and him hit each other several times too. And after the game, he came up and said something to me. He said, "We beat each other to death." And at that time, I just kind of, okay, pat him on the back. But they were physical.
So you guys have been behind for most of the playoffs. They come back, they score, and then in the second half, you guys are behind.
remember they scored twice on fourth down. That's one thing we need to bring.
Yeah.
They scored twice on fourth.
But Scotty busts a long run.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 73 yards, something in that neighborhood. And then you got again your defense. Your defense makes a play, and gives you guys a chance.
It was fourth down. They run a power eye. They came to my side. Of course, when that happens, I know if I could plug the hole, that man right there is going to make a play. Sure enough, he did. And it was on fourth down, and we got the ball back for that final drive.
So you guys are you're down 8,
Mm-hmm.
and you got the ball back, so you got a chance, which is in football. That's all you can ask.
Yeah.
And once again, we're thinking we're going to score. I mean, we're thinking. I don't know what got in, but once again, we're thinking, okay, we're going to tie this thing up right now.
Cardiac Kid.
Oh, yeah, it's happened all playoffs, no problem.
So there's an interesting play to end the game, and when we all met, a couple weeks ago, there was a couple of y'all that told me that you've never watched that game, you've never went back and watched it. Is that true for all of you?
I've never watched it.
Yeah.
You've never watched it, Jason? I don't think.
I watched maybe a bit of it, and then I just turned it off.
Yeah.
Just whatever's on the highlight.
Yeah, whatever.
Just whatever I've ever seen.
I've
I've
seen
never
that.
watched the whole game. It's still in its because they gave it to our boosters club had gave us some of the playoff games, and it's never left its sleeve. I think if I do
you
that
watched
right
it,
now,
Coach?
probably break.
I think I have.
I was saying, I may be the only one on here that's watched that game because I watched it again. When this idea of doing this show was kind of out there, Robbie Harrell asked me. He said, "Have you seen it?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And he said, "Well, it's on YouTube. Go watch it." So, Coach, there's a weird play on that fourth down. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, they like I said, they went for it on fourth down numerous times because they were happy with just getting 3 or 4 yards, getting it to 4th and 1, maybe getting the first down to keeping the ball away from us. I remember being up 7-0 in the first quarter, and this is in the second quarter because it seems like all the touchdowns were scored on that same end of the field except maybe their third touchdown. I know our 2 were scored on that side, and I know they had 2 in the second quarter scored on that side of the field. That's kind of why I remember some of it. But they dropped back to pass on 4th and go, and we put pressure on the quarterback. We're draped over him. They said Van Valkenburg or
Charles, yeah.
Charles was the one on him, but and we may have blitzed or whatever. But their running back just kind of turned around and faced the quarterback, maybe thinking the play was already over, about to be over, and the quarterback saw him and just flipped it to him. And we had put so much pressure on the quarterback. Once they flipped it to him, there was nobody between him. I mean, he just ran into the end zone for about 3 or 4 yards. So kind of a freak play. Give them credit for it, but it's kind of unlucky for us, and just kind of fed into what they were doing. They scored on 4th down, kept it. Even if they didn't get it, we are going to be on our own 2 or 3 yard line coming out. So their game plan was obvious to keep the ball away from us,
Right.
and if they could score, they did. And
So on your all's last drive, you get the ball back and you got a chance. What was it? I've heard 4th and 32. I've heard 4th and 33. 4th and 33. So
yeah, 2 reasons for that. One, we had thrown a pass down to Watson.
Double pass.
Double pass.
Okay, double pass to Watson, and he caught it inside the 10.
now Yock was your backup quarterback, right?
Oh, yeah.
Was he the one who threw it?
Yep.
The double
Okay.
pass. It was a screen to Yock, then Yock threw it to Watson down the field.
Okay.
And Watson caught it, but got called for pass interference. So that backed us up 15 yards, and we might have had another penalty to back us up 5 more. or sack. I don't really know. Like I said, if I watched it, it was a long, long time ago. That is the one I didn't watch to get ready for the show. You can tell.
So talk about that last play. Talk about like what do you guys what's the huddle like in the last play?
Once again, I think we were pretty upbeat about it. It was the same play we scored on, was what was called. And of course, I was going to go to Scotty. It didn't matter what it was going to do. That was what we were going to go with. You know, it's like Nick Saban said, when he gets down to the end, you give it to your guy, and that's who we went with. And I threw it as pretty much as high as I could throw it, because he, of course, was double teamed, of course. But once again, nobody's going to out jump Scotty. And Scotty makes a play. And just happened to be, if he had a size 11 shooting out of 13, he's in the end zone. Because he runs in the end zone, just happens to step out of bounds. And of course, we didn't know until later on that there was a pretty flagrant face mask. The guy's falling down, he reaches up and grabs Scotty by the face mask. And
Do you think that had anything to do with Scotty stepping out?
yeah,
Do you think
You just slowed him down.
you can watch him, he pulls away, he loses his balance.
Right.
And he tears
That's what I saw. It looked like when I watched the play, when the guy came down and grabbed Scotty's face mask, it pulled him forward, and then he stepped out of bounds.
Lost his balance.
And then you see the referee come in and wave and then of course it's a couple of
For
yards
a
short.
split second, we thought we scored. Just that split second, we thought we made the play. But
Now, if had Scotty gotten into the end zone, you would have still had to have gone for two. But again, I mean, if you got Secretariat back in the backfield, you got to feel like you got a pretty good.
yeah, good chance.
You got to feel like a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
And him making that catch, the guy, their free safety, remember the free safety? He was like 6'5" or 6. He was that much taller than Scotty. He was one of their receivers. He was a big guy too. So him just catching that pass over that guy should tell you how athletic.
Is that
Scotty
the Calvin? What's his
Yeah,
name?
Calvin something.
And
he was a monster.
he actually went on and started Alabama receiver.
Yeah.
After that, so
You know, considering all and the way those guys had come back, from the previous year in the championships, we did well.
oh yeah.
So you guys fall a little short. Ends up being 21-13. Did it dawn on y'all at the time the impact, what you all had accomplished as a team, what it meant to your community? Did y'all realize that at the time?
About mid-season, because we were undefeated, and people were thinking, uh-oh. And then you had that little run there where you're putting up big points, and everybody's like, hey, these guys are. And of course, you're going around town, and everybody's going, hey.
Yeah, I started saying when you're
Been part of the Christmas parade.
Oh yeah, where he got mad at us. because
Sometime in there.
We weren't fired up. We had just played Riverdale the night before, beat up and tired. And y'all need
got to represent, don't you, Coach?
Exactly.
Well, you're realizing when you get 6-7 games in, and when you're leaving the game, and it's usually just your parents and family at the game after the game's over waiting on you. And you realize that people are waiting when you come out of the gate with their, they're wanting their little kids to meet you and shake your hands and stuff like that.
no autographs, just
You know,
just to say hi to them.
That's the stuff you kind of start realizing. Hey, we just something special going here. Or you're going in town and somebody stops you and wants to talk to say how the game this week's going. Which in the past you didn't get that, and you knew you didn't get that. It was definitely getting to be, and every game was. I mean, yes, there was the Oak Ridge, the Halls, the Riverdale games, but every home game and every away game, our visiting section was slam packed full of people. I mean, it was it's every week was like that way, and it was just something special, especially being like us growing up as Clinton fans ourselves as kids, knowing that.
I mean, we've been out of school now, 5-10 years? And,
I like it. I like
Square
it.
you, Mr.
but I don't think I had no idea that it was going to make an impact on people to where 30 years later they say, "Hey, was you on that team?" No idea.
Well, I mean, like I've heard about it growing up as a Lake City kid, and it was, and I have people that I knew in the school system who were around that team. I always, every time I got around some of them, I was like, hey, what happened here? What happened there? Talk about a little bit you guys as a team, because I've been around you now a few times just to kind of sit on the outside and watch you guys interact with each other. I mean, it's like
That's all of us. If if y'all walked in right now, we wouldn't miss a beat. It would just be,
We could probably we could do a team activity now, all of us.
yeah, and not,
Together, as long as it's not physical.
yeah, no running or anything like
If you
that.
go back to watch any of the highlights on our, it don't matter who scored. All 11 guys were running.
Yeah,
the
we're-
end zone. Nobody left that end zone without 11.
A butt pad or
Everybody
something.
was
Celebrate
there.
everybody.
And we never had any. I mean, we had some different personalities without a doubt, but
Never had any issues.
not on the football, always on the practice field. I mean, we had everybody's back. I mean,
And in school too. I mean,
Yeah.
and out of school.
Yeah.
and
never
I
had
thank
issues.
Coach Geller for that. I don't know how he meshed because there was some different personalities. I mean, my personality's a lot different than Jason's, and how he was able to gel all those personalities together. I mean, because when in practice we didn't have any issues or
Once again, he had help. He had Fragamini,
Yeah.
Oscar. I mean, Coach
Well,
Frag.
once again, that's the respect thing in those guys.
Yeah. Coach Frag would challenge you. He wouldn't care. He
Right,
would come
a lot
out.
of
They would
respect.
watch film and come out, and he would say, "Well, they've got a nose guard. He's going to go this." They call him Chigger. Cobb County did. He was a little short guy. They called him Chigger. He's quick. It got to the point I told Darren, I said, "We're going to have to go on two." Just
Or
to
Sam on
get a
two.
couple of yards, just to slow him down, because he was quick as lightning. But that whole week, that's all I heard about. And it was just coming from one coach, and it's Coach Fragamini. He's going to be all over you. He's going to go this way. You ain't going to be able to block him. And that was a challenge.
Well, and your coaches trusted you too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
I've coached, high school football off and on for 20 years, and I've coached with coaches who don't allow, it frustrate me, not letting their quarterback call his own cadence. And that was something Coach Carter never told us what to go. The only thing I knew was inside the 10. Don't go on two. Don't go on two. Because you don't want to go backwards. So you want to say, I was on. Besides that, we want to go on first down, on two, whatever, didn't matter.
Well, we tried at Halls our junior year, and I snapped it on one.
Yeah, well,
But me and him,
there's that.
that was the reason why we didn't go on two inside the 10.
But you're talking about a team of guys. You talk about getting along, and you'll never see us kind of team again. You may have a team go 14-0 again or 15-0. You may at Clinton, but the days of that happening, of having a group of guys who grew up together in the county. I mean, you're talking Jason, him and Yock and Teddy and them and Charles and those guys played in Clinton. You had, Jason Leinert and Robbie and those guys from South Clinton. Claxton, you had Cliff Daniel, Jason Watson, Jason Gallagher, myself. And then here comes these guys from Norwood who were zoned to go to Clinton. You had Ronnie Atkins, you had Greg Stennett, you had Scott Page, you had Bronson. Then I was tickled with me and Jason got laughing on the other day. Scott Page and Bubba Longmire never played football till they got in junior high.
Because we had a weight limit. And if you were under weight limit, they didn't put an X
So
on
they
there.
went over to play.
You couldn't play. You had to sit on the sideline
So
because you're overweight.
And Scott and Bubba Longmire are the nicest guys you're ever going to meet. And you had told me in 8th, 9th grade those guys were going to help us. By the time I said you was crazy, but it all clicked. Their junior, senior, all of a sudden Bubba and Scott figured things out. Scott winds up being the strongest guy on the team. At the time, he was the strongest guy to ever come to Clinton. But you had these guys, and Ronnie Atkins comes from Norwood. He's this little fullback, and he snaps his ankle his freshman year and can't play run back anymore. Next thing you know, he's one of our better defensive linemen. And to have those 15, 16, 17 guys on that team, all from this area, going to school here, growing up together, and we held each other accountable. I kidded with you a few weeks ago. How usually you would haze the freshman, sophomore kids. We did it to each other still. We were still, messing with each other, pranking each other.
Yeah, we were dragon piling each other.
Yeah, we weren't messing with young guys.
Them up, or they couldn't come and have birthday cake or anything like that.
Of course, I ain't sure the coaches have been this whole time this was happening.
Yeah, they set it up.
Yeah, probably was behind it, but no, we had it. It was all a good time. Everybody got together. The different cultures. We had our team, different places.
Man, we were always together.
We were always together.
There's a lot of parties. We went a lot.
We won't talk about that. We'll leave that alone. But it was true, though.
Do it.
When those guys come up from Norwood, we heard of Greg Stennett, good lineman. Guys coming up, probably gonna come to workouts. And I think we were juniors. Linemen always had to do extra running. We'd do team conditioning, then we had to do extra. It isn't jump roping or the shoot or anything. It's always something. That's just Coach Engel. That's how mean he was. Him and Boskamp both. we'd go up Skyline Drive. I don't know where you know Skyline is, right? Yeah, it's steep. You go up Skyline Drive, and everybody gets there, and you got to wait till the last person. Well, this is Stennett's first practice workout, so he's like, this ain't too bad, and I'm looking at him going, okay. We get done with our conditioning, going, that was pretty bad, and I said, well, we're not done yet, fella. We've got to go up Skyline Drive. So we go up Skyline Drive. Of course, we're all used to it. All the guys have been there. We get top. We're looking around. Where's the Norwood guy? Where's that Stennett guy at? Nobody knows where he's at. We thought he'd turned around and quit. We start to run back down, and Coach Engel, y'all go ahead. I'll wait on him. About halfway down, there's some big guy laying in the road like somebody had shot him. Arms straddled out, one leg's bent up, the other one's flat, and he's in the middle of the road on Skyline, right around the curve. We were like, is that the Stennett guy? Well, I don't know. And sure enough, it's him. And he can't talk. He can't breathe. And we're like, buddy, this is how we do it here. I mean, this is going to be every day after practice, so get used to it. And, of course, he wound up being our starting tackle as a junior. That was the only junior on the offensive line, was him.
How did that season, or how does it, still impact your all's lives today? Does it?
100%.
I mean, every time we get together, we'll bring, me and him got real bad about watching film and go, hey, did you see what so-and-so did right there at the end of the play? Not watching the play anymore. We're just finding stuff like a celebration or somebody doing a fist pump, because you never saw it when you first watched it. We just giggle about it like little kids. Of course, we're 50-year-old kids anyway.
Bronson, you said every day. Elaborate on that a little bit.
I think so. We need discipline somewhere, and if you miss it growing up, you're gonna have to do it by yourself, self-discipline. And so, my discipline came from football, my football coaches, and my the players and stuff, because it teaches you how to be with a group, how to work with people, and so forth. And my coaches kind of helped me dial in, my energy, I guess, or whatever. And so I look at life a lot like football and football practice. Life's pretty tough sometimes, but if you practice right, more than likely you're going to win. So that's kind of the way I look at things. That's the way that football has helped me. If I continue to prepare and practice right, it should end up with a winning season.
So let me ask you this last question, and then I've got something I want to share to kind of wrap up. As you guys reflect back on that '92 season, at this point, at the point of this recording, the gold standard of Clinton Dragon football, 14-0 season before the championship game, 21-0 run that you guys had. What sticks with you when you think about it? When you think about that time in your lives, what sticks with you?
I think friendships. The friendships you got with not just your players, your coaches now. The coaches are still your coaches, but now that they're like, they're friends to you now. And I know I can call these guys here anytime I need to call them. I need help with anything, they'd be there for me. It's, we're still all that close. That's my main thing.
It's funny how it always comes back to relationship.
Oh, yeah. Ain't the game.
I mean, it's like it's people.
And there's a lot of us that are not in town, but still, if they showed up, I immediately dropped whatever I was doing just to see them.
There's a couple things that I want to. There's a story I want to share, and then I want to read a couple things to you guys that you may not know, and then we'll wrap it up. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys doing this.
I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed talking to y'all and hearing these stories. But here's something you may not know. That season, that '92 season, y'all scored 490. I believe that's still a Clinton High School record. Obviously, y'all set the record by 14 by winning 14, being 14-0.
Hey, start that again, Darren.
Which part?
At the very end of the season.
The points?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just talking to me. I was cracking up talking.
I didn't do nothing. I'm sorry.
So at the end of the season, y'all scored 496 points. I believe that's still a Clinton High School record. You won 14 consecutive games that season, 7 the year before, so 21. That's a record. You guys had 9 Dragons make All-State, honorable mention that year, but you had one player on that team that was All-State, and it was Jason. 1 All-State player and 9 honorable mentions. And the impact you guys had on your community. So as I've told you guys, I've talked to a lot of people about this game season that were around Clinton. And I asked him today if it was okay if I shared this story, and he said that it was. So this was a text that I got about a week or so ago from Jason Hammock. And here's what he says. He said, "The honest truth, I've never told anyone this. My dad sold his very first car to take my entire family to Vanderbilt for the whole weekend to stay in a hotel to make that trip special. We did all the touristy things, and that's how much that one day at Vanderbilt Stadium meant to my family. I asked him a couple years back, him being his dad, if he would do it all over again knowing the outcome. He said, absolutely, son. The smile on your face when you were around that team was worth it all." And he was a Norris High School graduate. He was holding that car. He was going to give that car to Jason. Mm-hmm. And Jason asked him if he could do it all over again, would he have changed his mind? And he said, absolutely not. That was a beautiful weekend. So that's just one person, but I've heard that from a lot of people. The impact that season, that team had on not only you guys as a band of brothers, but just on your community.
That's another guy that after he graduated from here, he came to our staff.
Yeah.
And coached with us. And,
yeah.
And his dad was always supportive, very supportive. Like his dad was the Booster Club president. His dad, I just told him earlier today, I was looking back at some of the film, he was kind of doing the color commentary sometimes.
And they did basketball together too.
And I actually was an announcer for Clinton basketball for 5 or 6 years. And Jason, Rhodey's dad, just called him Rhodey. Set all that stuff up and was my color guy for the basketball games.
That was told him he had a face for radio.
I've heard that too from some people. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. This is our first variation, but I think it's certainly a notable one. Always before, we've kind of shared the story of somebody's life. This is the first time that we've done a story of a season. And I do appreciate you guys. You guys have volunteered countless amount of time over the phone conversations with some of you, and we've met, together. I'd like to thank, obviously, Jason for helping me organize this, and Robbie Harrell. Without those two guys, I don't know that this comes to pass. So I appreciate those guys making this happen. I can't wait for this to air. I think it's going to be really good for Clinton High School and your all's community. Again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This is our second episode of season 2. Storytellers, the 92 Clinton Dragon runner-up season. Stay tuned in March or early April. We'll give you episode 3. But again, thanks for tuning in to ACTV Storytellers.